Greetings and salutations, everyone. All right, let's get into this, shall we? Let's go. I mean, man, this song always hits. I don't know what it is, but this double helix song, my intro song, is so damn good. Like, I sorry there. It took me a little while to start the stream because I was just listening to it myself, and I was like, damn, this thing is so good. I don't even. Oh man, so good. All right, welcome everybody. Week 5, our Kickoff with Kiorkof live stream. The rankings that are to the left of me are updated as of today, as of literally maybe 5 minutes ago, because there was a little bit of information regarding Devontae Parker not playing this week due to a hamstring injury. We already know Will Fuller's going to be out, so that does give a little bit more credence to playing guys like a Gaskin, like a Waddle, like a Mike Gesicki. Those will obviously be presented on the left side of the screen. So again, if you are looking for updated half PPR rankings per individual position and / 4 point per passing touchdown, there to the left. So the players that already played on Thursday, for example, the Rams or the Seahawks, they will not be included in the rankings to the left. Neither will the players that are currently playing in that blowout of a game, as Zach Wilson is literally pitching his own shutout in which he can't even complete more than 3 passes in the first half of an NFL football game after beating the Tennessee Titans in Week 4. Now, this is, just putting it out there. So Cordero Patterson, Mike Davis, Corey Davis, Kyle Pitts, thank you for showing up finally. Those guys will not be included to the left because they should already be playing and in your lineups if you were going to go ahead and go with them prior to today's live stream. So with that all being said, everything else to the left will include all the remaining players for Sunday slate and Monday night's game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys for coming. Do not forget to click the like button. There's a lot to get through. There's a lot of fantasy football to talk about. As of this current moment in time, as you can also see to the left of me, I am assuming that Dalvin Cook is going to play via a game time decision. Now, of course, we've heard a lot about whether or not he's going to play. At this point, if he's a game time decision and he plays, he's in my lineup. But with that said, he's a lower end RB1. I have him as my current number 10 ranked running back if he does end up playing. With that even being said, I still have Alexander Mattison as a low end RB2 at number 21. If in fact we have a scenario in which, of course, we'll see Alexander Mattison be the starter and Dalvin Cook is out this morning, then we would subjectively move up Alexander Mattison and fill in potentially even the number 9 ranked spot above James Robinson. So just kind of putting that in perspective, that's where we'd probably put him for safety's sake if Dalvin Cook is out. We're waiting for final word. Otherwise, the rankings to the left should pretty much kind of keep us on a good track. All right, cool. Just wanted to go ahead and mention that. We had a couple donations come through via questions. Let me go ahead and check out exactly what is being asked. Let me see. What's the score look like still? Halftime 20-0. Cordero Patterson's playing well, which is relatively expected considering the absence of a Calvin Ridley. Kyle Pitts, 6 catches, 64 and a touchdown. We couldn't ask for anything more. That's the typical Kyle Pitts we should hopefully see rest of season. Okay. King Pro sends in a question. His question is, flex half PPR, Sutton, Brait, or Zach Moss? Now my tight end. Okay. Okay. So no, my tight end. Here's the issue. Cortland Sutton rolled his ankle at practice Friday afternoon. He himself is most likely, even if he plays, going to be with, an injured ankle nonetheless. I'm leaning towards Zach Moss in this scenario. In a half PPR, I'll take Zach Moss over Sutton, over Brait. In your flex position, King Pearl, thank you very much for the donation. Kenneth Williams sends in one, says, flex, full PPR, Marvin Jones or Gibson, thanks. In the flex position, I think I'm inclined to probably play the stud running back because, he's a stud running back for a reason. He should be the guy that's being, thrown in there. But I know they don't have Brandon Scherff today, one of their all-pro guards. That is going to be tough, especially considering they play against the New Orleans Saints run-stop defense, which is one of the best in the National Football League. to be honest, in all reality, I think there's a good argument for playing Marvin Jones as the flex there in a full PPR, and that's what I'm going to suggest. I know leaving a stud on the bench may hurt, but I mean the reason you're asking it is because there are arguments to potentially sit a player like Gibson with limited work in the passing game and respectively in comparison to another option in a full PPR. Probably doesn't have as safe of a baseline of a performance today, so I'd go Marvin there. Umar C says Hawkinson or Knox. Yeah, so I've moved Hawkinson a little bit down. So he has been questionable all week long, and as the last couple of days have kind of moved, and specifically this morning, the reports that I've been reading, I'm not 100% sold that he is fully healthy. So I'd rather just play the guy that I know is most likely healthy and not going to be limited in any capacity, which would be Dawson Knox. Now, rule of thumb, typically you're just starting TJ Hawkinson and you don't question it. But considering you have Dawson Knox, who has scored 4 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, there's a potential in which, yes, you can have this conversation. That's why I'm leaning towards going towards Dawson Knox in your lineup this week. You had a follow-up question that says, in the flex position, do I play Hunt, Mike Williams, or Brandon Cooks? Okay, let me go ahead. Let me go to my half PPR flex rankings. Let's see where I have Kareem Hunt in relation to Mike Williams. I have Mike Williams 3 spots ahead of him in a full PPR scoring format, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Mike Williams there. Thank you very much, Umar. All right, let's see here. Sam sends in a question. Thank you. Says, Jamal Williams or Latavius Murray half PPR upside? In all reality, if you want 10 points, I think Latavius Murray is the way you get it. If you want 6 or 16, that's how you get it from Jamal Williams. Because, we've seen DeAndre Swift is still, questionable with that groin injury all week long. He may not have an immediate huge impact this week, though I am expecting him to, because there is always that question or that underlying, potential of him going down with an injury or re-aggravating his current injury. So if you're really looking for upside, Sam, and you're looking for a guy that, who could potentially score the most between the both of them, I would say that Jamal Williams is probably that player. Playing against the Minnesota Vikings this week and probably a negative game script. So if DeAndre Swift isn't as heavily utilized, then you get more utilization from Williams in comparison to Latavius Murray, who's kind of singularly capped out himself as a 10-point guy at max, 8 points typically. So that's what I'd suggest. Williams, thank you. All right, Zaki Kinlaw says, start 2, sit 1, full PPR. We have Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, and A.J. Brown. That is a really good question. In a full PPR scoring format, I'm going to probably go towards playing Keenan Allen and Deontay Johnson because I know the volume of targets and or total receptions are going to be a far more, I'd say, stronger baseline of production. Let me see here. What do I have? Yeah. I mean, in my current full PPR rankings, just for context sake, I got Keenan Allen at 8, I got Deontay Johnson at 9, and I have A.J. Brown as my number 12 wide receiver. So, again, I'm going to go Keenan Allen and Deontay there. Thank you very much. Let's hear. Kicks for Mike says, and I quote, standard flex, Mixon, Deontay, Higgins. Love the vids too. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Mixon is a guy that, as you guys can see from my rankings right now, where do I even have him? I have him at number 34. He is most likely going to play. That is the overall consensus of what the reports have kind of divulged in the last couple hours here on Sunday. Now the question is, do I play Mixon despite not playing a single rep of practice and not participating at all? Did my internet just go out? I think my internet went out. Hopefully it's gonna recover. The bits are going down. No, come on, internet. Okay, we're back. We're green. Okay, nope, back to yellow. Okay, I'm just gonna keep. Oh no, it's gonna happen like this, huh? Well, I'm just going to keep talking. And if I keep getting cut off, then, yeah, whatever. So, it says it's green. It says excellent connection on my YouTube. Hopefully, it's not lagging. I waited it out a little bit. Hopefully, the storm has gone by. Okay. So, to talk about Mixon in specific, I don't trust that he's going to have a full Mixon's workload. Like I talked about earlier this week in terms of trade targets, I want to go after Mixon because he's averaged 22.5 touches per game thus far this season. He is not going to get even half of those numbers, in my opinion. If he ends up grazing 10 touches, I will be surprised. I think he's at a limited capacity, and I think the only reason that he is even active today is because they don't trust Samaje Perine and or Chris Evans. So in that specific, realm that we're living in, I don't even trust playing Samaje Perine if they're so insistent on playing Joe Mixon this week. So with that said, Mixon is not somebody that I want to play in the flex. You have Deontay Johnson and you have T. Higgins. I'm going to play Deontay Johnson there as he is currently higher than Higgins in my current wide receiver rankings, as I have Deontay Johnson here as my number 9 and I have T. Higgins as my number 19. Thank you. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead, scroll down a tad bit. Where do we go? Okay. Andrew DeHart sends in a question, says Chuba Hubbard, Emmanuel Sanders, or Tim Patrick. I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard there. I still think with Christian McCaffrey, there's a lot of potential for him to have a good game. I know he was a little bit limited last week in terms of his overall exposure to opportunity in terms of targets, with Robbie Anderson seeing 11 targets. But I think a lot of his production wasn't, ceiling worthy because of the fact that, we saw Darnold steal 2 rushing touchdowns last week. Yes, Darnold's probably going to do another one of those today, but I think there's a very good chance that Chuba Hubbard finds the end zone along with, 50, 60 plus total yardage, and probably has a pretty strong baseline and always has the upside of potential there. So I'm going to go Hubbard. Thank you. Poner Kills All Trolls says standard Tim Patrick or Kenny Golladay. That's a really good question. If we get 100% confirmation that Cortland Sutton is most likely out, even in that scenario, I'm most likely going to play Kenny Golladay. I think the yardage count is probably going to be significantly higher, and I cannot guarantee that Tim Patrick scores a touchdown regardless of the fact that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be available this week. So in my opinion, I'm going to go Kenny G there. Thank you. I appreciate it. Trent says, hey, Andrew, you're the man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Half PPR pick 1, Damian Harris, okay, Elijah Mitchell, Emmanuel Sanders with weather concerns, or Madison if Cook sits. Okay, yeah, if Cook sits, without a doubt in my mind, Madison is a play. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, if Cook sits, I think Madison's my number 9 overall running back, okay? Until that is, determined, right now, if you're wondering, guys, why I have Damian Harris lower than I potentially had him earlier in the week, because I talk about it, rankings are always subject to change, and I did go ahead and change these rankings a lot since, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday videos. Just to give you some context, Damian Harris has 4 of his starting offensive linemen out today. Both the left side of the offensive line is out, and so is the right side of the offensive line. The center is the only position that sits there healthy, and that concerns me. So with that said, if you're playing in a half PPR, you have Elijah Mitchell, you got Emmanuel Sanders, Madison, and Damian Harris as your available options. I think I'm playing Madison regardless of whether or not Cook is in there, because what we saw last week from Montgomery and Damian Williams give me some confidence to just fire up Madison. You don't even have to worry about the weather concerns of the night game in a half PPR. If it was a full PPR, I would lean perhaps in the direction of Sanders, but I think Madison is the way to go. Thank you. James Joyner says, Mitchell or Jacoby Myers? It's not even close. It's Jacoby Myers. 26 targets in the last 2 weeks. He's just automatic points at this point. With 4 offensive linemen missing, they will get the ball out of his hand or out of Mac Jones' hands relatively quickly. Maybe the run game kind of falls off a little bit in that contest. And if, in fact, we are going to see some utilization from wide receivers, as of thus far this season, we've seen Jacoby Myers, I think, have an average depth of target at 8.8 yards. So I think he's catching the ball relatively close to the line of scrimmage. I know he's going to play on the outside, but I'm not too worried about the Houston-Texas matchup nonetheless. Myers is a great play there, James. DeAndre Evans says, flex, full PPR, Chuba Hubbard, Damian Harris, and or Emmanuel Sanders. I am playing Chuba Hubbard there. I think Emmanuel Sanders could very easily score a touchdown this week, but there is a little bit of weather concern. I'm still starting all of my Chiefs and or Buffalo Bills studs because I have to. Right, there are very little options in which I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let the weather of a little bit of rain prevent me from playing my Patrick Mahomes, my Clyde, my Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Those things are not going to bother me from playing my studs. As for the extended pieces that benefit from potential opportunity as the game kind of persists and isn't really guaranteed opportunity at that, Sanders is in a little bit of a tricky situation, so I'd rather just play Chuba there. Thank you. Andy Wardlaw says, and I quote, 2 running backs, Cook, Jacobs, Damian Williams, Pollard, Madison, Moss. All right, we're in a pretty good spot here. You got great running backs across the board. Now the question remains what your scoring format is, because if it is a half PPR scoring format, I want to remind all of you that if you are looking for half PPR individual positional rankings, they're to the left side of the screen. Again, if you're looking for half PPR between, let's say for example, this question that was asked: Cook, Jacobs, Damian Williams, Pollard, Madison, Moss. Okay. So from the bottom up, we have Pollard at 31, so he's the lowest ranked. The next lowest ranked player there is Zach Moss at 23. Then we have, let's see here, we have Josh Jacobs at 19. We have Damian Williams at 17. And then we continue to crawl up the board. Obviously, we have Madison at 21, and we have Cook at 10. So if Cook is playing, I'm firing him up. And then after that, the second running back would be Damian Williams. If in fact Cook is out, in that capacity, we would play Madison and Williams. Okay? Sounds good? Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Andy. KJ says, if Cook is ruled out, yep. Would you play and flex Madison or Deebo Samuel? That's a really good question. I would play Madison. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to play Madison there. Mainly because the matchup is far too advantageous against the Detroit Lions for me to pass it up. I mean, when I look at what the Detroit Lions have kind of given up thus far this season on the ground, and we've talked about this week in and week out as we've kind of progressed here. Elijah Mitchell, week 1, 104 yards and a touchdown. Week 2, Aaron Jones, over 100 all-purpose yards, 4 total touchdowns scored. I know that the Detroit Lions really held the Baltimore Ravens to a limited capacity of yardage, but in reality, it was the Baltimore Ravens that limited themselves in that game. But I mean, last week, 106 yards and 2 touchdowns for David Montgomery, 55 yards on the ground, and a touchdown for Damian Williams. It might be crazy, but yes, if Madison is going, I'm playing Madison because he's practically Dalvin Cook in that capacity because of how great the matchup is and how much of a run-focused team the Minnesota Vikings are. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let's moving on. Austin Sebastian says Cook, Madison, Damian Williams, Gibson, RB2, and Flex Williams, Amari Cooper. Okay, so we got a lot of options here. So in terms of your RB2, if Cook is playing, I'm playing him. If Madison is his replacement, then I'm playing him. It's one of the 2 Minnesota Vikings matchup running backs, so just keep your ear to the ground and see how that kind of figures itself out in terms of the reports. As for the flex between Mike Williams, Amari Cooper, Marvin Jones, and the remaining players, I'm going to play Mike Williams over all of them. Okay? Sounds good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words there, Austin. I appreciate that. Alfred says, Miles Sanders, Connor, or Waddle in a half PPR pick 2. I'm going to play Connor, and I'm going to play Waddle there. Thank you, Alfred. Johnu Smith says, start 2, sit 1. We have AB, Jacoby Myers, and Antonio Gibson. Considering you didn't mention any sort of scoring format, I'm going to assume that we're most likely in a scenario in which you're probably in a half PPR. If that's going to be the case, let's go ahead and see here. What do we have in terms of a half PPR scoring format here? We have Jacoby Myers there. Let's go see what the flex rankings look like. Where is Jacoby Myers? Let me actually pull this down so I can look at it straight ahead. So we have AB. Where are you? Antonio Brown's here. We have Jacoby Myers here. And we have... Where is Antonio Gibson? Yeah. So I'm going to play Jacoby Myers and Antonio Gibson in that scenario. Those are the 2 options that I'm going with. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, John Smith. Let's see here. Markeem sends in a question. Says Devonta Smith or Pittman? I'm going to play Devonta Smith there. Pittman kind of scares me because I don't really like the quarterback play from Carson Wentz. As of late, the offensive line is not healthy. And Marlon Humphreys is most likely going to be shadowing Pittman for majority of that game. Even with tougher corner coverage in the last couple weeks, he's gotten a good amount of target volume, but just really hasn't amounted to much. So I'm going to go with Devonta Smith there. Thank you. Let's see here. What is the next question on this list? Where did it go? All right, cool. Chris R. says, Mike Williams or Marquise Brown? I'm playing Mike Williams. I know Marquise Brown has been extremely consistent, obviously, besides that one game against the Detroit Lions, but Mike Williams is going to be heavily utilized in today's contest. There's very little hope of them consistently running the ball against Cleveland, so they're going to have to air it out, and I'm sure they're going to go back to their big number 1 target there in Mike Williams. Let's see here. Ankit Patel sends in a question, says start 2 Boyd, A-Rob, Emmanuel Sanders, Renfro, full PPR. I'm going to play Boyd for sure in that contest. I think the next best option in regards to a full PPR is probably Renfro. So those are the 2 options I go with there. Thank you. By the way, for those of you who are also wondering why I have Allen Robinson at number 34, in comparison to earlier this week in which he had no presence on the rankings list. As of this moment in time, Trayvon Mullen, the number 2 cornerback of the Las Vegas Raiders, is going to be out. Now, that does certainly have a potential, for upside for Darnell Mooney, but I don't expect Casey Hayward to be tailing Robinson the entire game. I think they're going to leave him on one side of the field, and they're just going to leave him there and have him lock down whoever shows up. I could be mistaken because, again, I don't know how they want to run their defensive, their coverage. If I was in their locker room or, watching film with their coaches, I'd have a better understanding as of what their game plan was this week. But I think there's a good potential in which Allen Robinson could have a little bit of a better game than he has in weeks past, and that's why I mentioned him kind of in those rankings. But regardless, Ankit, it was Boyd and Renfro. The second question here, Charlie sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says Josh Jacobs or Waddle now that Parker is out. If in fact you play in a full PPR, I'm willing to roll with Waddle, but in a half PPR or a standard, I'd go with Josh Jacobs. Thank you. Craig Newman says, hey, Andrew, hope you're keeping well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You too. Half PPR. I need 2 wide receivers, a flex, and a running back too. Okay, great. And you got good options based on what I can see so far. Deontay Johnson, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Damian Williams, and Fournette. The RB2 is going to be Leonard Fournette for sure, without a doubt in my mind. The Miami Dolphins matchup is incredible. As for the wide receiver, 2 wide receiver options, Deontay Johnson and A.J. Brown, those are the 2 that I'm firing up. It may seem weird to be sitting CeeDee Lamb, but he's kind of going to have to earn it in the next couple weeks in order for us to have a little bit more confidence in him, because these other wide receiver options, in my opinion, have that much better matchups and, in my opinion, have been playing that much better. Specifically Deontay, but I think A.J. Brown against the Jacksonville Jaguars is pretty much automatic. So those are my suggestions. Deontay, A.J. Brown, Fournette. Thank you. Perry Paul says, half PPR, Miles Sanders, Emmanuel Sanders, Mixon, Golladay. Of those group of players, I am playing Golladay. I don't want to play Mixon. Sanders has been extremely inconsistent. They play against Carolina, who's been a pretty good defense as of playing against average teams. Lane Johnson's missing this week. Their offensive line's a little bit beat up there for Philadelphia once again this week. So it's between Sanders and Golladay. I'm going to go Golladay there against the Dallas Cowboys secondary. Angelo sends in a question, says PPR. Chuba is a free agent. I got Miles Sanders, Gainwell, and Gordon. Should I risk dropping one of them, considering Christian McCaffrey might be back next week? I mean, if you're starting one of these players in your flex position, I am far more, inclined to play Hubbard instead of, any of these options that you've mentioned, because I don't really like Melvin Gordon versus Pittsburgh, and I don't really like any of those, Philadelphia backs. Obviously, perhaps in a full PPR, we could talk about Kenneth Gainwell being a little bit of a better option than Miles Sanders. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're willing to drop him, specifically Kenneth Gainwell, and go for Hubbard, I think that's probably the best play you can have this week in terms of those 4 running backs. Christian McCaffrey will be returning next week, but it's not like the value of Hubbard doesn't disappear. He's still a handcuff. Obviously, doesn't get as much opportunity, but if McCaffrey goes down with an injury, you at least have, the entire Carolina backfield once again. G. Boya says, wide receiver 1, Chris Godwin, flex, Darrell Henderson. Okay. Who do I start? I have Brandon Cooks, AJ Green. I keep doing that. Antonio Brown. Dude, the Browns, the Greens, it's a mix. It doesn't matter. Okay. Cooks, Antonio Brown, AJ Green, Marvin Jones Jr. Okay. So if in fact you already have, I guess Henderson and Godwin going, and you need another option to kind of fill in for another flex position, or I think this might be another wide receiver 2 position perhaps. I don't know. You didn't really mention that. Regardless, if I'm picking the best player out of the group that you've gone ahead and mentioned here, is it a half PPR? Let me just check one more time. There's nothing that says about the scoring format, so I'm going to assume this is a half PPR scoring format. With that said, let's go ahead and flip over to the half PPR rankings. Like I've mentioned earlier, everything to the left side of the screen today is updated rankings for half PPR. So if you guys are wondering as to which wide receiver to start, I have Marvin Jones slightly ahead of Antonio Brown. Those are the highest 2 options there. So I'm playing Marvin Jones in this scenario. Thank you very much, G. Boya. Francisco sends in a question. Thank you. I appreciate it. Says Jones Jr., so that's Marvin Jones, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks. Start 3, sit 1. I'm sitting Brandon Cooks. Again, the reason I have Brandon Cooks as low as I do is because, like I've always mentioned, Brandon Cooks is playing against Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick's record against rookie quarterbacks is incredible. And as we go week through week, we just looked at a game in which Davis Mills last week against the Buffalo Bills had -4 fantasy points in which he threw 4 interceptions. Guys, it is going to be extremely difficult for Davis Mills, regardless of how many times he throws the ball to Brandon Cooks, to find a steady, potential production there. In reality, it really is going to be difficult. They're probably going to double cover Brandon Cooks, and the fact that I even have him as high as I do is me almost like just paying respects to Brandon Cooks playing so well this season, and maybe perhaps he can play well this upcoming week. Just wanted to throw that out there. But either way, good option nonetheless. All right, let's go ahead and let's see here. What is our next option at the moment? The next question sent in is Matthew Kroll sending in, trade Allen Robinson for David Montgomery, and why? I mean, if you want to, you can. I mean, if it's my choice, I'm going to. And why? Go watch my video in terms of trade targets. It'll answer the question exactly. David Montgomery, once he returns, has an incredible strength of schedule. He's the number 11 running back right now. Every team he plays in the second half of the season and going into the fantasy playoffs is going to pretty much prime him to be the fantasy MVP of the playoffs, assuming he's fully healthy and ready to go. So again, just go watch that video. And Allen Robinson's not playing well, so why not just go ahead and ship him now and get a running back for the future if, in fact, your team can't afford it. Lorenzo says, Adam Thielen or Keenan Allen in full PPR. Unfortunately, we are going to be sitting Adam Thielen in this scenario. I think Adam Thielen is in a very advantageous position, but considering you have an even better option, a wide receiver, a guy that's been averaging 11 targets per game thus far this season, and in fact, in the last 2 seasons with Justin Herbert under center, it's just far too much opportunity to give it up on that. Adam Thielen rarely sees double-digit targets in that capacity and often relies upon touchdowns. So we're going to obviously go with a guy that's going to get the receptions, the yardage, and if he gets the upside of a touchdown, is even better. So I'm going Keenan Allen there. Michael sends in a question, says, full PPR, Tony versus 30th ranked wide receiver defense, or 30th. Okay, well, technically it's 30th ranked if you're playing on ESPN, but in reality, it's one of the worst defenses in the league. So yeah, okay. So never mind. Or Allen Robinson versus the 70th wide receiver. I'm so confused as to these numbers that you've kind of presented here. 30th and 70th. A defense can't be the 70th ranked. That's literally impossible. There's only 32 teams in the league. So it must have been a typo of some sort. Probably you meant 7th or something of that capacity. Regardless, Tony has a far more advantageous matchup. Now, if you're playing in a full PPR specifically, who am I expecting to catch the ball more? Tony. And yes, he probably has less touchdown upside, but in comparison to a half PPR, which is on screen, I'd flip them. I play Tony ahead of him because I expect him to catch the ball more today because, again, just going back to last week, far more targets, and Allen Robinson doesn't see many targets at that. So that's where we're going. Eddie sends in a question, says, you think this could be Allen Robinson's breakout week? I benched him after week 2, but I could play him in the flex over CH or Damian Harris. I wouldn't do that. Personally, I wouldn't. If you would like and you think that there's a potential for it, sure. I mean, there's always going to be a potential for any player to have a breakout game. It's just a matter of whether or not they're given targets. And in my opinion, at this point, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is getting touches. I mean, there's back-to-back weeks in which he's got, 19 and 16 touches? That kind of opportunity in comparison to whatever we've seen from Allen Robinson in the last couple weeks gives me far more confidence just playing my stud running back and not worrying about Allen Robinson. If he wants to pop off, let him pop off on the bench, and then next week we can go ahead and talk about it. But for right now, I'm not really too convinced of him over an option like CEH. Alexander Ross says full PPR, start 2, Hubbard, Christian McCaffrey, Cook, Moss. Okay, so as of that, Christian McCaffrey's not playing. So in that specific regard, we're playing Dalvin Cook if he plays, and Hubbard. If Dalvin Cook does not play and Christian McCaffrey does not play, then we're playing Moss and Hubbard. It's pretty easy. Your lineup will set itself based on whether or not the health is of these players is ready to go. As for your second question, start 2, Mike Williams. So you put A Brown. There's AJ Brown and there's Antonio Brown. I'm going to assume that you didn't forget to put the J and that you mean Antonio Brown. So that's what we're going to go with. Mike Williams, Antonio Brown, Marvin Jones, or Jacoby Myers. As of this moment in time, I'm going to play Mike Williams and Jacoby Myers in a full PPR over the other options that are presented. I think Marvin Jones in a half PPR, way higher ceiling in terms of touchdown upside, but in a full PPR scoring format, probably gets significantly less targets than a guy like Jacoby Myers, who's probably 15 to 16 plus points every week, with the amount of opportunity he's been getting as of late. So Williams and Myers there. Thank you. Lil Vinny says start 2 CEH, Hubbard, or Damian Williams. At this point, I'm going to play CEH and I'm going to play Damian Williams there, regardless of scoring format. Even if we're talking about a full, I think in terms of total opportunity, yes, it's close between Williams and Hubbard, but I do like Williams' current position in the matchup and potential work that he's going to get in the passing game because, again, inexperienced quarterback. Mixon or Javonte Williams? Yeah, look, at this point, I'm playing Javonte Williams. Now, yes, it is close enough to where you can potentially convince yourself, yeah, let's play Mixon and hope he falls into the end zone. Certainly, I don't mind that. As of right now, I mean, I know Dylan Russell saying it in the chat, Mixon, question mark. He's at number 34 at running back because he didn't practice the whole week, and they're thinking that he should play for some reason, though he is still injured. At this moment, I don't think he's going to be at a full capacity. Like I talked about it a little bit earlier, he's been averaging 22.5 touches per game. He is not going to get remotely close to those numbers. And without that volume of touches, with how inefficient he has been this season, he is certainly not going to be able to be a 100% full play. And in reality, he could very easily come into the game, get injured, and leave. So at this point, I feel a little bit more comfortable playing a guy like Javonte Williams, in all honesty, that I know he's going to get just as many touches, but at least he's going to be fully healthy in this capacity, and we're not going to have to worry about anything of that matter. Let's see here. Report. Dalvin Cook ankle is inactive. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's change everything on screen. As you can see, based on what I've just done, Alexander Mattison is my number 9 running back now. Okay, Dalvin Cook is officially inactive. You can look at the rankings to the left. Dalvin Cook is off the board now. Do not play Dalvin Cook. Play your Alexander Mattisons, so on and so forth, or the other options that you potentially had in this week's matchups. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on. We had Phil sends in a question, says, hey man, happy week 5. Thank you very much, Phil. Says, I need help with the full PPR league. I need a quarterback out of these two, Herbert and Carr. I'm playing Herbert. Thoughts on the matchup? Specifically with these two, I mean, look, the Chicago Bears matchup isn't bad at all. I think with a full, go at having Josh Jacobs in the backfield and the wide receivers as they kind of sit for the Raiders, they're in a pretty good spot. And Derek Carr has played well this season thus far. But Herbert is probably going to throw the ball 40, 50 times today. And if he doesn't, I will be, pretty surprised. Jason in the chat just said, where's Cordero Patterson? He's currently playing right now against the Jets. I think, where did I have him ranked prior to this morning? Let me check here. I have it here. So, like, on my Patreon, when I posted rankings earlier today, at the crack of dawn, I had Cordero Patterson as my number 17 running back. But again, he's already playing right now, so you can't choose to play him or not because it's already over. Now, speaking of, let's see what happened here. Did anybody score a touchdown? Ty Johnson scored a touchdown for the Jets. That's as bad as he gets in reality. The Jets are probably one of the worst looking teams I've ever seen this week. Like, what is this? Wow. They are not. How many completions does Zach Wilson have? 8 for 17. Wow, the Falcons. Whew. Thank you, Phil, for the update. I appreciate that. But anyway, I think Herbert's going to throw the ball a bunch. He's got better receiving options, in my opinion. I know Darren Waller's a stud, but Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Jared Cook just seems like far more of a matchup in which I believe the offense more, and I believe that the quarterback probably has just a higher upside. Very rarely are we going to see Derek Carr come out and throw 3 touchdowns, especially now that we have Josh Jacobs in the backfield. All right, Todd Grayson says, full PPR, Damian Harris or Miles Sanders, even with the full PPR kind of leaning in the direction of a Miles Sanders, with the potential he catches the ball here or there, I'm still going to go Damian Harris there. I just think that the opportunity and the guaranteed amount of touches that we have already seen this season just makes it an automatic play at that point. I don't really want to worry about what Miles Sanders is going to do. People are spamming in the chat, Cook is out, Cook is out, Cook is out. Guys, I have already gone about that. If you look to the left side of the screen, I have already removed Dalvin Cook there, and I've already put Alexander Mattison as my number 9 overall running back. Don't worry, I'm one step ahead of it. I've already prepared for the scenario because I knew it was most likely going to happen nonetheless. But I appreciate you guys coming in the chat and relaying some information. That really does help everyone out here. So thank you in regards. Thank you, guys. All right, so moving on. We have Setashi says, morning, Andrew. Thank you very much. Says, no advice. Just want to say great work. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you. All right, Chris says, pick one, half PPR. I have Cook, half PPR. If Cook is out, which he is, Schultz or Pittman. I'm going to play Schultz. The amount of opportunity he's getting, he's playing about 80% of the offensive snaps. The target counts have been there. The Giants' defense isn't the greatest. In fact, it's actually quite a good matchup for tight ends. I'm all in on Schultz, so we're going there, Chris. Thank you. Mark Carlson says, start 2, touchdown only scoring. No points for yards or receptions, 35-year-old dynasty league. Mark, congratulations. That is an incredible, 35 years? Dude, let me do some actual math. Hold up. Just really quickly. Off the top of my head, here we go. Minus 35 years. So this league started in 1986. So you're telling me that this league is literally 9 years older than me. That's Mark, that is unbelievable. That's insane. So if we're looking for touchdowns only, and we're talking about Zeke, Kamara, Chubb, Zach Moss as 3 players, and then you did mention at the end, Moss has had 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. I see that. I acknowledge that. With that even said, there is no way that I am playing Moss over Kamara. I don't see a way that I can do that. I personally can't. Now, you probably know your league better than I do. But in my opinion, Zeke's an automatic, Chubb is an automatic because they have incredible matchups. And if it's between Kamara and Moss, even in a touchdown-only game, we're talking about the reigning touchdown champion of the running back position in the NFL last season, a guy that had so many touchdowns last year, and at any given moment could have a 5-6 touchdown game. I'm going with Alvin Kamara. I appreciate it, Mark. That is an incredible league. Congratulations to you guys that have been in there. That's amazing. All right, Phil sends in another question. Says, for my running backs, I need 2. I got Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey, Hubbard, Gordon, and James Conner. Is Hubbard playing, or is it Christian McCaffrey? Based on everything I've heard and or seen, Christian McCaffrey is doubtful. But if he plays, I'll go ahead and I'll immediately update the rankings on screen because I also have a contingency for that. But let me go ahead. Let me just peep something out because I am under the impression that Christian McCaffrey is not going to be playing today. I'd like to confirm this. Where are we at with the Christian McCaffrey deal here? Where is he? Christian McCaffrey says he's currently doubtful. No recent news on him. Let me go ahead. Let me just peep out one more source. Let's go to this site and let's see if there's any news on McCaffrey, just in case. So in regards to your question right now, if you need 2 running backs, you have Jacobs, Hubbard, Gordon, and Connor. I'm going to play Jacobs and Hubbard there. When is this posted? October 10th. Panthers declare Christian McCaffrey inactive for Week 5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Do not worry about Christian McCaffrey. He is inactive, Phil. So you are going to play Jacobs and you're going to play Hubbard, and you're going to be happy with it because it is a great option to play both those guys. People in the chat are spamming. Zach Wilson is trash. Yes. Yes, we know this. Skizzy says, I just need to know what's going on with Ayuk. Thanks. Look, what's going on with him? The first 2 weeks he was in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse. Right now, he has an opportunity of being a huge upside wide receiver that outside of a couple receptions, hopefully gets a little bit of a bump this week because there is no Kittle. If he ends up playing well, there's potential where he, could be in this top 36 conversation, maybe better. But it's a matter of whether he gets targets. With Trey Lance at quarterback, I don't even know. I think he had like 2 targets the entire game with Trey Lance out there, which is a little concerning. Decrypt in the chat was saying Mixon is active. I am 100% aware of that. Decrypt, thank you for letting me know. I currently have him as my number 34 ranked running back because I don't trust it. I talked about it ad nauseum already today, but I'll go ahead and reiterate it in a little bit. Just got to catch up with some of these questions. Thank you very much. The Real Mexi 980 says, RB wide receiver, we have Alvin Kamara, Eckler, David Johnson, which I'm assuming is DJ. I don't know what other DJs there are. DK in the flex, okay. Saquon, DK? Who the heck is DK? Metcalf. Okay, I got you. So you're playing Deontay Johnson and DK Metcalf. That's what you meant by that's my running backs and wide receivers. Okay. Alvin Kamara, Eckler, Deontay Johnson, DK Metcalf, flex is Saquon. Great. Bench, you have AJ Brown, you have Claypool, McLaurin on the bench. We're playing McLaurin. I don't know where the confusion was set up here, but we're definitely playing McLaurin over Deontay Johnson. Hopefully we're on the same page there. But anyway, any switches to do? Get yourself a long vacay. Thank you. I appreciate that. There's no vacation anytime soon. We're going until February. So with that said, we're playing McLaurin instead of Deontay Johnson. For sure. So run that and you're good to go. Phil sends in another question. I need one wide receiver and one flex because one of my wide receiver spots went to Cup. I got A.J. Brown, I got Juju, and I got Cole Beasley. I have Corey Davis, but he's currently playing. Yep. Then I would play A.J. Brown. That's your next best option over Beasley. If I was to order it, it would go A.J. Brown, Beasley, then Juju. But yeah, A.J. Brown for sure. JK says flex, full PPR. We have Waddle, AB, Gibson, Dalvin Cook if he plays. Dalvin Cook is out. Either way, I'm trying to catch up, of course. As of this currently, when I look at all these players, I'm probably leaning in the direction of playing A.J. Brown in a full AB, Antonio Brown in the full PPR. Let me go see what my full PPR flex rankings kind of sort of look like at this point. So we have Antonio Gibson here, and we have Antonio Brown lower than him. All right, so we're going Antonio Gibson. Damn. Even though I kind of want to play that wide receiver there, I'm going to trust my prior judgment of 3 hours ago when I was cranking out those rankings. So that's what we'll go with for here. Gibson. That's the play, JK. Justin sends in a question, says, I just picked up Robbie Anderson off waivers today. Do I play him over Sutton and Pittman? Yes, I would. I am a Ridley manager, and I'm hurting this week. I would definitely play Robbie Anderson over Pittman and Sutton for anybody that needs to hear that. Thank you. Regardless of format, half full. Alex Wolf says, pick 3, half PPR. We have Madison, Deebo Samuel, Godwin, Deontay. Wow, that is a really good lineup. In reality, I'm playing Madison, I'm playing Deontay Johnson, and I'm playing Deebo Samuel. I'm leaving Godwin on the bench because I think your other options are just far more superior at this point. Thank you. iShine, thank you for the generous donation. Says, yo, Drew, I need high upside in this league. I'm 0-4. I need it to win badly. Cook got me 7 points last week, so I'm nervous. I've got Madison. I've got Damian Harris. I've got Damian Williams. I've got Javonte Williams. I think I still should be contrarian. Okay, so at this point, I think in my mind it's relatively simple. With Cook out, I'm playing Madison for sure. As of your next best option, I'm playing Damian Williams. Then the next best option after that is Harris, and then the next best option after that is Javonte. So Madison, D. Williams, D. Harris, J. Williams. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate the donation, Aishan. Thank you. Phil with another question says, I also got Renfro. Do I get him in there or no? In comparison to your other options, Phil, no. From what I just read, in terms of what you have over the last couple messages, I'm playing the guys that we've pretty much talked about. I'm playing A.J. Brown over him. Thank you. Steve Alvarez says Russ is out. Daniel Jones, Burrow, or Tannehill, Trey Lance, rest of the season. I would take Joe Burrow there, rest of season. Thank you. Craig Newman says half PPR, need a flex, CeeDee Lamb or Damian Williams. Let me go check what my half PPR rankings look like. I'm assuming, but I don't want to guess it at this point. Where is CeeDee Lamb? I think CeeDee Lamb might be a little bit higher than him, but maybe identically sitting next to him. We have Damian Williams here. CeeDee Lamb is actually probably significantly higher. Yeah. In comparison, I have CeeDee Lamb at my 32 and Damian Williams is my 43. So yeah, I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb there. I thought it would have been closer, but it is certainly leaning in the direction of CeeDee Lamb. Thank you. Samuel Sharp says half PPR, Zach Moss or Antonio Gibson. I'm playing Gibson there. Thank you very much. If you want to go ahead and play Moss, you have all the right to. Again, you are the final decision maker on your team. At this current moment in time, I feel really comfortable just playing Gibson and getting the production there. What happened to Taylor Heineke? I changed my mind. That's what happened. Because, again, like I always talk about, rankings are subject to change. But thank you for asking in the chat regardless. Let's see here. The next question via donation was Andy Chan. Says 0.75 PPR. Damian Harris, Moss, Renfro, Waddle, Green, pick 2. I'm playing both of the stud wide receivers in relation to Renfro and Waddle. I'm playing those two guys. Thank you, Andy. Michael sends in a question. Full PPR. Samaje, Singletary, Sermon, Mitchell. I'm going to play... I'm going to play Singletary there. It might sound crazy, but in reality, Elijah Mitchell, I don't know what what we're going to potentially see out of it. I don't know what we're going to see out of Sermon. Samaje Perine, I don't trust, because if they're willing to activate a hurt running back or injured running back like Mixon, then Perine might not be good. So we're going to go Singletary there and hope for the shootout to benefit him in any sort of capacity he can. My screen just updated. Okay. Going down, iShy101 sending another question. J.D. McKissick with Gibson playing hurt, or Brandon Cooks going against Belichick with Mills in a half PPR. Ooh, okay. Flex spot, need floor, bro. Okay, if you need ultimate floor, man. Look, here's the reality. Typically, I would sit there and just straight up tell you I'm playing Brandon Cooks. But if you just need floor of production, I would assume that J.D. McKissick is most likely going to get you at least 5 catches. So if you're playing in a full PPR, there's a very good likelihood he could probably get you 10 points. And so could Brandon Cooks. But if I'm feeling more comfortable about it, because, again, there's a Belichick problem on the other side, then, yeah, you just roll out a McKissick and just fire it up there. Jake Perry says Marquise Brown or Antonio Brown. I'm playing the younger of the two. I'm going to play Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown. Thank you. Kobe Prentice. I don't know why I said patience. I don't know what the heck happened there. Dyslexia. Anyway, what is it? 2 completions in a row for Zach Wilson, Andrew? Thank you very much, Najee. I appreciate you letting me know, because it seems like even with that, it's not going to matter. I don't know how they beat the Tennessee Titans last week. In reality, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, Michael Carter's their leading receiver right now. Like, that is just putrid. It's awful. Damn, the Falcons haven't done anything in the second half, huh? That's crazy. Cordero Patterson tried to throw the ball, I guess. Anyway, Jake Perry, we're playing Marquise Brown. Kobe, started Collins over Madison. What do you think? I mean, I don't blame you, because we didn't know the status of Dalvin Cook. So, yeah, I don't blame you. You're fine. I mean, you had the, your specific information on Thursday, and you went about it accordingly. I would have probably suggested the same thing, because my anticipation was that there was a potential that Dalvin Cook could still play this week. So, yeah, I don't blame you for that. Johnny5659 says, with Cook out, should I start Madison over Chubb? As you can see to the left side of the screen, we have our updated rankings with Alexander Madison. Wait, what happened? Oh, shoot. My bad, guys. Actually, you know what? Let me do something so that never happens again. There we go. Sorry. I guess I accidentally clicked my transition button on my stream deck here. So, sorry. Alexander Madison is my number 9 running back. My bad. I accidentally clicked the button. And hopefully, yeah, it won't change anymore. Sorry. I had it on a slideshow mode. I accidentally clicked the transition, I guess, somehow, some way in the recent future or recent past. But regardless, Alexander Madison is at number 9. That's the updated, current position of that. So no, I'm not playing him ahead of Chubb. Chubb is still at 7. Thank you. Let's see here. Wait, why do I have Chubb at 7? Am I looking at I thought I had him a little bit higher this week. Am I crazy? Where do I even have him in a full PPR? Yeah, I know. In a full PPR, I got him way lower. Never mind. Okay. Moving on. We have Timmy sending a question. Thank you very much. Says, full PPR. Michael Carter already started as my RB2. Cool. He's catching the ball. Good to see. I think he got 5 points already on catches. 3 catches, 20 yards. Good to go. Pick one. Gibson or Madison? I'm playing Madison. No doubt about it. Or switch out OBJ at the flex for Madison? No. Wait. Yes. Sorry. I would play Gibson, and then I'd pull out OBJ, and I'd play Madison at the flex. Thank you for asking and clarifying that to me. That's what I would do. Dope Entertainment says, hi, Andrew. Should I start Madison in the flex over Godwin, Deontay, or Diggs? I would probably play Madison over Godwin. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. And I've already suggested a little bit earlier. I'm going to, continue to commit with that. VA says, yo, love what you're doing, man. Thank you very much. Top notch. Says, CD Lamb, Thielen, Hunt, flex, full PPR. At this moment, in a full PPR, I'm more inclined to play Thielen than any of these other guys, so that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to play Adam Thielen there. Thank you. Todd Grayson says, full PPR, Schultz or Gesicki. I think I moved Gesicki a little bit higher because of the information that we were kind of privy to this morning based on Devontae Parker is not active today. With Devontae Parker not in there, I think Mike Gesicki is a huge play, and so is Waddle, so is Gaskin, because there's no Fuller, there's no Devontae Parker, and they play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which means they're throwing the entire time. I'm personally going with Mike Gesicki there. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one of the worst teams against the tight end position for the last, 25 plus games in the regular season plus playoffs. So we're going to go Mike Gesicki there. But again, Schultz is, right behind him. So they're both great options. If you don't have a better flex option, maybe you play both. Rondell Johnson says, and I quote, full PPR. For my flex, should I use Madison, Hubbard, Damian Harris, CeeDee Lamb, or Hollywood Brown? My running back 2 and wide receiver 2 are already taken by Collins and Lockett. Other starters are Lamar, McLaurin, Robinson, which is James Robinson specifically, and Waller. So the question again is Madison, Hubbard, Harris, CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood. As your flex, I'm going to be playing Madison, without a doubt in my mind, sending him out there. Again, I mean, it's the Detroit Lions, guys. That defense can't stop the run. And Madison's definitely going to be pounding the rock like he did a couple weeks back. Derek Just says, if I have both Zeke and Pollard, with Zeke's injury, do I start both? Full PPR, I only get one flex, or just sit Pollard and just start Renfro or Damian Harris. In a full PPR, I would just sit Pollard and I'd play Renfro in this scenario. That's what I would do. Thank you very much, Derek Just. Matthew Correa says, Gibson or Fournette? I would play Fournette 100% in a full PPR without a doubt in my mind. Just to give you a little bit of context, Matthew, just so we know for future sake, on the left side of the screen, we have Leonard Fournette at 13 and we have Antonio Gibson at 15. When I look at them and what we've seen over the last, I would say, 2 seasons, who's going to get majority of the receiving work in comparison to one another? Leonard Fournette is far more utilized in that capacity. So in a full PPR, he's even a better overall play. So either way, Fournette for sure. RJ says, pick 2, Damian Harris, Antonio Gibson, Alexander Madison. I'm playing Gibson and I'm playing Madison. Thank you very much. Your boy Charizard says, pick 1, flex, half PPR. We have Juju, Elijah Mitchell, or Miles Sanders. Oh, man. I mean, in reality, I don't like any of these plays. Juju hasn't looked good this season at all. He's only scored a rushing touchdown on the goal line. Elijah Mitchell, I don't know what kind of potential we're going to see out of him, Lance, and Sermon. I don't know what that running game is going to look like today. In reality, I don't. Hopefully, they're going to run the ball, but I don't know if it's going to be Mitchell, if it's going to be Sermon taking majority of those touches, if they're going to split and how that's going to look. So in reality, I'm probably going Miles Sanders here. So that's where I'm going. I would probably, if it's my team, I'm starting Miles Sanders. Thank you, Charizard. Mike Jones says, PPR, Moss or Devonta Smith? Okay, between the two, I think there's a lot more safety in just playing Devonta Smith. Moss needs a touchdown. Yeah, he's been scoring touchdowns as of late, but in reality, it's not a guarantee every single week. They've played against really easy matchups where they've blown out teams 40, 35-0, 40-0. They've killed the Washington football team, put up 40 points on them. It may not be as easy against the Chiefs this week, despite how bad the Chiefs have been defensively. I think this is going to be a closer game than people pretty much anticipate. And it's not going to be crazy to where Zach Moss is scoring twice again. So I would go Devonta Smith in a full PPR. As for your second question in a half PPR, we have Hubbard, we have Gibby, and we have Marvin Jones. If we're playing one of the 3, I'm playing Gibby. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. Adam Long says, why is my guy telling me to start Pittman instead of Kareem Hunt at the flex this week? Sanders scoring. Why is my guy telling me? Who's your guy? Adam? Because anybody who's telling you to play Pittman over Kareem Hunt in any capacity, regardless of scoring format, is absurdly, mistaken as to what is going on. Kareem Hunt in a half PPR, because that's off the top of my head, has put up 15 plus points 3 out of the last 4 weeks. In no capacity are we playing Michael Pittman over him. So do not worry. I don't know who your guy is, quote unquote, Adam, but for sure play Hunt over Pittman, my guy. Especially when the Chargers are just giving up all the yards on the ground. M says, M, that's literally his name, M. His, her, they, M, okay? Half PPR, Damian Williams, Laviska Shenault. And half PPR, I'm going to go Damian Williams there. I appreciate it. Thank you. Emmanuel Delgado. Dude, I'm flustered now. Full PPR, Mixon or T. Higgins. I'm going to play T. Higgins there. Thank you. Hunt is in at running back. Cool. Spot Patterson is playing right now in my running back line. Yeah, you're good. I'm going to play T. Higgins there regardless, though. Thank you, Emmanuel. River Runner says Mike Williams, Antonio Brown, Alexander Madison at the flex. Oh, wow, that's a good question. In a full PPR, am I playing Alexander Madison ahead of Mike Williams? I think I am. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to play him ahead of Mike Williams. I think Madison, I mean, from what we saw a couple weeks back, the guy was catching the ball out of the backfield. He was just unstoppable. If he just gets a rushing touchdown on top of it, man, he's just such an unstoppable force because the matchup is just too easy. Jason Bell says, full PPR, Mixon or Hubbard? We're playing Hubbard. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to catch up here. Where is Jason? Okay, Frank sends in a question. Says, I'm sort of low on tight end. I have Kittle and I have Jared Cook. Okay, at least you have Cook this week, which is not a bad option. Since Kittle is out, should I pick up Dwelly or put in Jared Cook? Yeah, I'd much prefer playing Jared Cook over Ross Dwelly. I know he scored a touchdown last week, but in terms of his overall productivity, in terms of his career, very seldom has George Kittle been out and Ross Dwelly done anything with the opportunity he's been given. Sure, he's had a game in which he scored 2 receiving touchdowns 2 years ago, but in reality, he's very limited in terms of the amount of routes he's run typically on this offense. And in the years past, when Kittle's been out, we haven't seen enough convincing production out of Dwelly, and it's a tough matchup at the tight end position. I'm going Jared Cook there, Frank. Appreciate it. Isaac Maximoff, thank you very much, says Damian Harris or Jacobs. I'm going to play Jacobs there. Ravens defense or Panthers defense? I'm playing the Ravens defense against the Colts on Monday night. Thank you. Sun AAA says Gibson, Alexander Madison, Cook out, half PPR. I'm playing Alexander Madison. As you can see to the left side of the screen, we have half PPR individualized rankings updated as of this morning. We have Alexander Madison at 9, and we have Damian Harris or Williams, or who did you ask about? Damian Harris as our number 21 running back. So hopefully, again, you don't have to send in a donation next time. It's on screen, hopefully helping you out. Moving on, we have, Damon Smith. Dude, that is a extremely generous donation. Holy moly, please don't do that again. I mean, I appreciate it by all means, but I mean, let's parse it out a little bit, right? We got a lot of weeks ahead of us. My God, thank you very much. That is extremely generous of you. Does go a long way. Thank you. Says, which would you bench out of the 3? We have Kadarius Toney, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr. I'm torn between Kirk. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the wide receiver position. As it currently stands, full half PPR, I have Odell Beckham Jr. ranked lower than both Kadarius Toney and Allen Robinson. I think Baker Mayfield didn't look good at all last week. I think the injury is bugging him a lot, and I really do think that the matchup against the wide receiver core, the specific secondary coverage of the Los Angeles Chargers is not an easy one in comparison to Allen Robinson against Las Vegas and Toney versus the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm playing Toney and I'm playing Allen Robinson. I'm sitting OBJ this week until otherwise noted. And then your second follow-up was, I'm torn about Kirk Cousins or Jalen Hurts. Cousins owns the Lions. No, he certainly does. I think in the last 2 games, he scored 7 touchdowns against them. He could very easily come off with a huge performance here. The only reason that I've gone ahead and changed it from earlier this week, the only reason I've moved Jalen Hurts a little bit slightly ahead of Kirk Cousins is if in fact the rushing touchdowns take precedent and they go ahead and just are consistently scoring in that capacity. Alexander Madison comes out of the game with 2 rushing touchdowns and Kirk finishes with 2 only passing touchdowns. I think Jalen Hurts and his rushing ability against Carolina probably has a little bit of a safer floor. But in reality, if you're just looking for the consistent production, you play Kirk Cousins, you don't even worry about it. Because again, they're so close in my rankings that it's no problem at all. I appreciate it again, Damon. Very generous of you. Lucas Askew says, start 2, full, okay, half PPR, Brandon Cooks, Emmanuel Sanders, Damian Harris, Laviska Shenault. Love the channel. Been following for the last 2 years. I mean, trust me, Lucas, familiar name. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. As for your question, half PPR, if we're starting 2 of these players, who are we potentially starting? I think it's for sure. I think Laviska Shenault's the guy I certainly want to play in this capacity. As for, do I want to play Emmanuel Sanders as well in comparison to Damian Harris? Yeah, I don't mind that. Let's go with both the receivers there. I like Damian Harris, but with 4 missing offensive linemen this week, it's a little bit tougher for me to think that he's obviously going to have total upside, like the 100-yard rushing touchdown game, So we're going to go with the 2 receivers there. Sanders, Shenault, thank you. Lorenzo Herrera says, Dalton Schultz or Hawkinson? On a full PPR basis. I'm going to play Schultz. Look, on a regular week, without any Hawkinson trouble, without the inconsistency that Hawkinson showed us, I'm probably playing Hawkinson. And to be honest, a lot of people would probably call me crazy for not playing Hawkinson over Schultz. But right now, I think the matchup is primed. And with the health concern of Hawkinson, I don't know if I don't want to throw him out there in that capacity. So I'm going Schultz right now. Somebody in the chat was saying Madison is smash play. Yeah, I'm automatically playing him. I mean, he was far too good a couple weeks back for me to be concerned about it. Follow-up question, you have Heineke or Tannehill? I'm going to play Tannehill. With A.J. Brown back, I'm far more comfortable with that against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's see here. There was a question that Alex sent in, but Alex, there was no message attached to it. Or you sent it to Dono, but there was no message attached to it. Let me see if I can find it in the chat. If I update this chat, am I going to find it? Okay, Alex says, Tampa Bay defense or New England defense? I have New England as my number 1 defense this week, and I have Tampa Bay as my number 2 defense this week in my overall ranking. So the answer is the New England Patriots. Again, the Buffalo Bills came out of a week last week in which they had 22 points against Davis Mills, who threw 4 interceptions. I think there's a very good chance that he sees ghosts today, and he throws a lot of interceptions in direction of the New England Patriots secondary. Thank you very much, Alex. Peter sends in a question, full PPR flex. Emmanuel Sanders, Waddle, Mixon, now listed as active. Don't worry, I already knew he was going to be active today. I read that report at like 4 in the morning from Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, so we're chilling. Started Henderson, Henry, McLaurin, and M. Jones, Marvin Jones. Yeah, your lineup looks great. In terms of who I'm playing in the flex, though, in a full PPR, I am far more comfortable playing one of those wide receivers than a Mixon-esque overall running back. As it currently stands, I think Waddle's in a really good position to probably catch the ball 7 times for like 40 yards. But does he have potential of upside touchdown? I don't know if it gets there. I'm leaning in the direction of Emmanuel Sanders then. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Peter. Let's see here. I got to scroll back up because it accidentally updated. MPP 808X. Okay, here we go. Listening up. Chase Edmonds or Alexander Madison. Full point PPR and 1 point per touchdown. 1 point per first down. With that said, Chase Edmonds has been limited all week long with the shoulder injury. If in fact he comes in the game and he bugs his shoulder, not interested in that. I'm 100% interested in playing Madison with Cook out against Detroit's defense. Again, if I have to go ahead and talk about it, I will, because I don't like the idea of sitting Madison this week, because in reality, it is really good matchup, guys. Detroit is awful in terms of stopping the run. They're the second best matchup at the running back position in terms of fantasy points to opposing running backs in a half PPR. Again, we'll go over it. David Montgomery, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. Damian Williams, 55 yards and a touchdown. We've seen Aaron Jones go for over 100 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns in week 2. Elijah Mitchell went for 104 yards and a touchdown. Before Raheem Mostert even went down with an injury, he was averaging 10 yards per carry against them in week 1. This defense can't stop the run. This has been systematically, their defense has been this bad for the last 3 years. In reality, it has. So we're just firing it up. We're sending it out there. Madison over Chase, for sure. Alex sends in a question. Says, Trey Lance or Herbert need higher upside. 4 point per passing touchdown. I 100% believe, without a doubt in my mind, that Herbert is far and away greater upside. He has a better offensive line. He has better receivers. He's a better receiving back. And is, in my opinion, maybe not a better matchup, but the better quarterback right now. So 100% the upside is with Herbert over Lance. I am Purple Drank says, half PPR, pick 2, CEH, Damian Harris, Madison. CEH, Madison, 100% starts, good to go. Leave Harris on the bench. Thank you very much. Brian Mills says, and I quote, half PPR, I need one between KJ Osborne, Javonte Williams, Brandon Ayuk, Rondell Moore, or should I pick up Kadarius Toney? Okay. I would probably say go pick up Toney and play him. I don't mind the Brandon Ayuk play, though. So if you don't want to pick him up, you're like, listen, Sterling Shepard's going to come back next week. I'd rather hold the guys that I have on my lineup. I don't see Brandon Ayuk as that far of a drop-off in terms of total production today. I do prefer Kadarius Toney, though. I will let that be known for sure, based on my rankings, obviously. But if you don't want to make any moves, Brandon Ayuk is the option out of the four. But otherwise, yes, Toney would be the guy. Ian Ward says, full PPR, Shenault or Latavius Murray? It's Shenault, not even close. Latavius Murray does not catch the ball. He is a 10-point kind of running back, doesn't get anything more. At the very least, he could probably, even without a touchdown, end the week with probably like 6 points, which is not good. I think Laviska Shenault can do that in the first quarter with 2 catches in reality. So I think Laviska Shenault's the play there. Take King over. That's a good name, actually. I like that. Full PPR, flex, Brandon Cooks, Kareem Hunt, Jacoby Myers. That's a really good question. I'm probably leaning in the direction, in a full PPR, probably playing that receiver. Like I said it earlier, Kareem Hunt in the last couple weeks, or 3 out of the last 4 weeks, 15-plus points in fantasy. He's scored 3 touchdowns. If he doesn't score a touchdown, his fantasy production goes to about a 10-point guy. If we're looking for guys that are not scoring touchdowns and just getting raw production out of stats, Jacoby Myers is a better play in my eyes. He's probably 15 points without even scoring a touchdown. So he has so much more upside in that regard that's where I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. Even though it hurts me to say that, because I really do love to play Kareem Hunt in every capacity I possibly can, because he's been so good this season and so efficient with the amount of opportunities he's been given. I think the safer play is Jacoby Myers in that regard still. Austin Sebastian, thank you for letting us know, but we've all heard Cooks is out. Alexander Madison on the list right now as my number 9 running back. Check that out for those of you who have him and are ready to go and fire him up. Walter Gregg says Chase Edmonds, Tyler Boyd, Allen Robinson. In the flex, if we're playing in a half PPR scoring format, theoretically, it's between, straight up Chase Edmonds versus Tyler Boyd. Now, as of who is going to be the option there that I'm choosing, let's go ahead and look at this, because I'm not going Allen Robinson in that regard. Chase Edmonds is sitting at my number 49. Tyler Boyd is at my 54. And that's what we're going to go with. We're going to play Chase Edmonds this week. Walter, I appreciate it. Tyler sends in a question, says full PPR. Do I flex Damian Williams, Pittman, Galladay, Devonta Smith? I have Hurts as my quarterback, so I could do a stack, excuse me. Unless your league gives you extra points for stacking, I think I'd just rather play the best overall player. In regards as to who is the best of this group, let me go ahead. Let me peep out my full PPR. Somebody's adding me in the chat. What does it say? Touchdown Jets 20-17. Okay, let's go see who scored. Give me one moment, Tyler. Let me go ahead and see who scored in regards to this. Michael Carter, rushing touchdown. Good for him. He's starting to get a little bit of a breakout here. In terms of anybody else in this offense, nothing. I mean, literally no production. Tajay Sharp kind of looking good. Okay. Was a little bit of my deeper rankings there, but okay. So, Tyler, full PPR, we were asking about, and I quote, Damian Williams or probably Devonta Smith is the highest receiver of that group that I have. So let me go ahead and let's see here. Where's Damian Williams here? Devonta Smith is here. And where is Williams? I have Damian Williams ahead of him. Is there anybody else receiver-wise that I have? No, there's nobody else. I'm going to play Damian Williams there. I don't mind the idea of the stack, but unless you're getting extra points, I'd just rather play the better player in my eyes, which at this point, in terms of touches and guaranteed opportunity and potential productivity, I think is Damian Williams. Thank you. Alex Apking says full PPR, Keenan Allen or Stephon Diggs? I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs there. If you want to play Keenan Allen, you're more than welcome to. I just think that, last week we saw a little bit of Stephon Diggs getting back on track. I think against that Kansas City secondary can certainly once again have himself another big performance here. Mert22 says pick 2, full PPR. Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Damian Williams. Thanks for keeping up. Thanks and keep going with the great content. My goodness, I am dyslexic and I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you very much, Mert22. That is very kind words of you. Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, straight up, not even close. They're far better plays than Damian Williams this week. Let's see here. Raiders 21 or 121. Raiders 121 says full PPR, flex Damian Harris, Joe Mixon, Antonio Brown, or Sutton. I'm going to play AB there. Thank you. In a full PPR. River Runner says start 2 wide receivers, full PPR. We have Diggs, McLaurin, Mike Williams, Antonio Brown. I'm playing Diggs and McLaurin. Thank you, River Runner. JG says, yo, Andrew, let me know which has safest floor versus highest upside, full PPR, Renfro, Mooney, Pittman, Ayuk. Safest floor, highest upside? I think they're both Renfro in reality. So, Renfro. Thank you very much, JG. Mark Straw says, Mike Gesicki or TJ Hawkinson. I'm so torn on this one. I appreciate you. Found this channel this year. True gem. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mark. All right. Between Mike Gesicki and TJ Hawkinson, I've talked about it a lot. The matchup for the Miami Dolphins this week, specifically at the tight end position, is really good. Tampa Bay cannot stop opposing tight ends. They haven't been able to do so for the last couple seasons here. I think Mike Gesicki with, in fact, both Fuller and Devontae Parker out. I mean, the amount of opportunity he's been given in the last couple weeks. He scored a touchdown last week. The week before had 12 targets, 11 receptions. Too much work there for me to ignore that. And that's mainly why I'm leaning in that direction. I've gone ahead and switched them this week. So I'm going to go Gesicki there. It's crazy, but that is my current decision. Or more or less suggestion. Because again, it is your team at the end of the day. For all of you who are in here, these are just suggestions. I'm not making your decisions. I'm not setting your lineups. If you'd like to hear my opinion, that's what you're here for. But again, you make the final decision at the end of the day with your own informed opinion, with the research you do or the opinions that you hear out there. Regardless, there we go. Let's see here. Where do we go? Okay, there was a couple more questions that were sent in. Okay, Bez787 says, would you trade James Robinson and Elijah Mitchell for Calvin Ridley and Jalen Waddle? Depends what your running backs look like. If you have the ability to be like, you know what, I can actually get rid of James Robinson and it's no big deal here, I would consider it. But I don't know if, what your running back depth looks like. I mean, very seldom do I ever want to give away a top running back in the capacity of a James Robinson. And I know you may be thinking, is he really a top running back, Andrew? Yeah, I mean, he was last year. And as of the last 2 weeks with Carlos Hyde being inactive, it looks like he's probably once again going to be in this upper echelon conversation of running backs. So it is tough for me to want to transition to a wide receiver unless you're super desperate and you have too much depth at running back. But again, there's no such thing as too much depth at running back. Appreciate it, Bez. Gucci Han, Louis Han, thank you very much. Says, my guy. I have playoff Lenny, great, Kareem Hunt, and Damian Williams. Much love since last season, of course. Thank you very much. Should I start Joe Mixon or let it ride on the bench? I'm sitting Joe Mixon. I got him at 34 this week. As for the the potential options that you have, I'm playing Leonard Fournette, I'm playing Kareem Hunt, I'm playing Damian Williams, then I'm playing Joe Mixon in that exact order. Thank you very much. Luis Ramos says, full PPR, Hubbard or CEH? I'm going to play CEH there. Thank you. Half PPR, Debo or Connor? I'm going to play Debo Samuel over James Conner. I appreciate it. Thank you. Lorenzo Herrera says, thanks, boss. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anthony Barrett says, trade Ridley and Miles Sanders for Mooney and Mixon. Dynasty League. Ooh. No. I don't think I do that. I know Miles Sanders looks bad, but he's a young running back, and Ridley's got so much more upside than Mooney in his career. Ridley's not even that old. He's only in his 4th year. I mean, he's going to get his second contract. He could play for another 8 years. So I'm not really looking to dump Ridley like that. Mixon is enticing, but Mixon's a running back. We talk about it all the time. The NFL stands for not for long. And the running back position has a lot of turnover for a reason. I don't know if Mixon's going to be able to sustain it with all these injuries he's taken. So right now, it might be crazy, but I think I'm just holding at what you have. Unless you are in desperate need of upside running back because you're like trying to win. I'm trying to win this year, and I don't care about the future kind of thing. Carlos sends in a question, says, full PPR, bench CeeDee Lamb for Renfro? No. Or do I start saucing too early today? You're the GOAT. Thank you. Yeah, you may have been saucing up a little bit too early today, Carlos. I appreciate that. That is a hilarious comment. Thank you for saying that. Now, I'm just going to play CeeDee Lamb. Is Renfro a potential guy that maybe I want to go ahead and throw out there? Perhaps that's the case. But in reality, yes, he's played well as of late, but I'm not too keen on playing him over a CeeDee Lamb. I think this is one of the games that CeeDee Lamb kind of has that little bit of a breakout or comeback that we kind of expected from what we saw earlier in the first 2 weeks of the season. Kobe sends in another question, says, what should I do with Montgomery? I'm 2-2. Trade ? I think it's 100% dependent on what you see your team looking like in 5 weeks. If your team is going to be 7-2 in 5 weeks, then you're going to hold on to David Montgomery and you're going to go ahead and play him in the second half of the season and win yourself a championship off of his productivity. As for potential, maybe he's a huge option in your offense and you're missing your RB2 and you actually might not win more games and you lose in the next 5 weeks. You might go, 2-3 and you're going to have a 4-7 or 4-5 record, If that's going to be the case, then you can definitely look to trade him. Depends how many teams make your playoffs. There's a lot of variables that need to be taken into account. Do you play in a 10 or 12 team league? How many teams make the playoffs? Is there a first round bye? What's the scoring format? In reality, I think 2-2, if you have guys that can fill in the coming weeks, then you keep them. If not, then you need to go ahead and move them and you got to get something better for it. And you need to get players that can help you now because you need the wins now, right? Thank you. Hunt or Myers at the flex, full PPR. And we talked about this earlier. I'm playing Jacoby Myers. I hate it, but I'm doing it. Jacoby Myers, man, 26 targets in the last 2 weeks. He's a PPR fiend. He's been getting like 15 points each of the last 2 weeks, full PPR. Not even scoring touchdowns. I was mentioning it in regards to Hunt. If he doesn't score a touchdown, he doesn't get those 15 points. And Myers is just a better player than him in that regard. So I think that could be the case because Chubb hasn't scored in a while. Maybe the Chubb week and Myers is the better player here. River Runner sends another question. Full PPR, I have Najee Harris. I have Mike Williams, Antonio Brown in the flex. So if we're playing one of those three in the flex, I have Madison starting as my running back with Cook out. Yeah, so at this point in the flex, I'm playing Najee Harris. No doubt, 100%. I don't even care that they play against the Denver Broncos. Najee Harris has been like 20 points almost every game, 18-plus points every game this season in a full PPR. I know that 1 week he was a little bit off, but ultimately, since those receptions are flowing as much as they are, it's a Najee Harris game once again this week. K. Jackson in the chat was saying Jacoby is the new John Brown, LOL. In reality, was John Brown getting that many targets? I don't remember him getting that many targets, unless you're talking about John Brown on the Cardinals, which I don't even remember. I mean, I know that he had a 1,000-yard season there with Carson Palmer, but I mean, if you're talking with Josh Allen, I don't even know if that was the case. He was a good, he was a good wide receiver too, but yeah, I mean, he scored touchdowns though. That was the great upside for him. Jacoby Myers hasn't done that this year that much, or at all. I don't think he's even scored a touchdown in that regard. Okay, Diego sends in a question. Says Tannehill, Lance, or Heineke. Pick two. Playing Tannehill and I'm playing Lance. Firing it up, baby. Let's go. Cosmo says half PPR. Start Miles Sanders or Tyler Boyd. I'm gonna play Tyler Boyd there in a half PPR. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see here. Inderjit says, two-parter, should I start Lance, Cousins? Okay, first and foremost, I'm playing Cousins. The last 2 games that he played against the Detroit Lions last season, 4 passing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, automatic start over Lance, no questions asked. Who should I start at the flex, Damian Williams, Galladay, or Waddle? In my opinion, it's Damian Williams, automatic touches. Yes, the other receiving options, potentially have their, I guess they could get themselves 7 or more receptions in their given games. It's possible. But with that even being said, there's no guarantee that it happens. And with guaranteed touches out of a running back, especially in one that's in a good matchup, that's going to get the receiving work as well, I'm going to lean in that direction always because opportunity, in my opinion, is the best thing. Let's see here. Alex says, pick 2, full PPR, Swift, Deontay Madison. Okay, cool. I'm probably, oh man. I don't want to leave Swift on the bench, but I might have to in this case. I'm playing Madison over Swift, even in a full PPR. I think I'm fairly confident in doing that because Swift has been a growing limited practice guy the whole week. So is leaving Swift on the bench crazy? Yes. But do you have Deontay Johnson and Madison that are great options? Also, yes. So I'm just going to go with your studs right now, which at this point, is probably Madison and Deontay. God, I hate leaving guys like Swift on the bench, but you got too good of a team at this point because Cook is out. Let's see here. The next question, where the heck is it? There it is. Danny Show says Mixon or Hubbard. I'm going to play Hubbard there in a half PPR. Thank you. Guys, a reminder for those of you who are in here, 600. Left side of the screen, we do have updated rankings for our half PPR scoring format. Cook already out, Mixon there. Don't worry about it. It's all there. As of this morning, 10-10, updated rankings. Again, I always talk about rankings subject to change. They're in effect and they're active. Thank you. Let me see here. Where are we at in terms of the score for this game? 27-17 now. Who scored a touchdown? Did we get like a pick six or something like that? What the heck happened? Kick return or something? Let me see here. Scrolling down. Kicking game, no. Kick return, no touchdowns. Someone explain to me what happened in that game. How did the Falcons get to 27 so quickly? I just looked away for a half a second. They're at 27. Okay, Tater Tot says A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb, Boyd, standard. I'm playing A.J. Brown, not even close in a standard league. Thank you. Alex Apking says Keenan Allen, Swift, Madison, flex full PPR. I'm playing Madison. Inderjit says, is Waddle a play? Yeah, I think Waddle's a play. He's ranked currently, and he's a potential play. Yeah. Mike Davis scored? Really? Okay, that's good to know. Nice game. He's fumbled today, but in reality, already has, 11 points? Caught the ball twice for 8 yards? Okay, 12, 13 points. This is the best game of his season so far, which is great. Is it going to happen again? Touchdowns are few and far between for a guy like Mike Davis, unfortunately. DeAndre Warren, thank you very much, says full PPR, Swift or Leonard Fournette. Safest floor, highest upside. Safest floor, Leonard Fournette. Highest upside has already been proven. It is DeAndre Swift. So if you want the floor, you go with Fournette. If you want the upside, you go with Swift. Moving on, we have Nick Coleman, 32, says Swift or Kareem Hunt? Swift. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bryce says, hey man, need to fill the last flex spot, full PPR, tight end premium, Henry, Naeem Hines, Quintez Cephas, Robbie Anderson. Even in the tight end premium, getting 1.5 fantasy points per reception. Hunter Henry's, he probably catches the ball 4 times today. In reality, what do we have there? 6 points, maybe scores a touchdown. If that's going to be there, then sure. I think it's a better play to just go with the Robbie Anderson right now. I think Robbie Anderson against the Eagles secondary is a good option, especially considering his target count from last week. Let's see here. Zen O'Malley says half PPR Latavius or Chenault / Devonta Smith. What do you mean slash Devonta? Are we picking 2? Because if we're picking 2, I'm playing Chenault and Devonta Smith, and we're good to go. As for just for the sake of ease, if we're picking between Devonta Smith and Laviska Shenault in a half PPR, I'm playing Devonta Smith. But yeah, if we're picking 2 and it's between those 3, I'm playing Shenault and Smith. Thank you. Berlin B says, would you trade Mixon for Najee Harris? I would trade him immediately, no hesitation, auto accept. Give me Najee Harris. Thank you. Redron says, or Redron says, or Redron. Yeah, maybe Redron, but that's not really how you spell Redron. Redrone, dyslexia. Standard league. Need a flex spot between Latavius Murray, TJ Hawkinson, and Allen Robinson. In a standard league, I'm probably going Latavius Murray there. Just give me the yardage, give me the touchdown. Kobe says, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kobe. Mario Gonzalez says, Damian Williams, Damian Harris, Zach Moss, Josh Jacobs. If we're picking just one out of that group of players, we're going Damian Williams. As for your next question, Damian Williams, Hubbard for my second league. And then, okay, so in your second, so at this point, we're starting Damian Williams twice this week. As for Goddard versus Conklin, we're going to play Goddard there. I appreciate it. Steven Talbot says, I traded Pittman for Madison. Was it smart? I agree. It was smart. I was betting on Cook being hurt. Yeah, I mean, look, you have a player like Pittman that may never start for you. You might as well give him up. Go get Madison and get some points out of it. I don't mind it, but again, it's just a matter of what happens. Because if Madison plays this week, gets you good production, and then never plays again for the rest of the year because Cook is healthy, then maybe it's not the best overall play. But for now, it might be to just secure you this win. Anonymous sends in donation. Thank you. Says half PPR Superflex pick 2. I love Superflex leagues. Let's hear it. Zach Moss, Renfro, Mooney, Laviska Shenault, Teddy Bridgewater. Really? Are we considering not playing a quarterback? You're absolutely playing a quarterback here, my guy. Anonymous. So Teddy Bridgewater for sure. Undoubtedly is going to be the play. The next best play in that specific scenario besides Teddy Bridgewater, is Laviska Shenault. So we're going to go Shenault. We're going to go Bridgewater. I'm also playing Waller, and my opponent has Derek Carr. Appreciate the channel, bro. Thank you very much, Anonymous. Bridgewater, Shenault, good to go. Jafet sends in a question. Says, full PPR, Boyd or Mixon? Flex. Playing Boyd. Thank you. Falcon Beast 9 says, are we starting Mixon today? No, I think I have him as my number 33 current ranked running back, so I'm not really too interested in playing him. Again, he was limited, didn't practice all week, and I'm not too interested in firing him up in this capacity. So at this point, we're good to go and play another running back. Or should I start Connor or also Devonta Smith? Okay, so yes, I would play James Conner over him, especially with a little bit of iffiness from Chase Edmonds this week because of the shoulder injury. With that said, you also asked Devonta Smith or Ayuk in the flex. I would play Devonta Smith there. Kittle is out. Yep, no problem. So yeah, Smith, I understand Kittle's out. Ayuk has potential, but I think Smith just has a better overall quarterback at this point in terms of what we've seen, and the opportunity will probably be a little bit of an expanded role there in comparison to Ayuk. So Connor, Smith, thank you. Chad sends in a question. Trade Patterson and McLaurin for A.J. Brown and James Robinson. Need a flex this week. McLaurin, Mixon, Jacobs. We're playing McLaurin in the flex, not even close. As for Patterson and McLaurin for Brown and Robinson, I don't want to give up Terry McLaurin, but if you have to, in exchange for James Robinson, because you still have Mixon, you still have Jacobs, so you don't technically have to make this trade, but in reality, if James Robinson's going to be James Robinson, you're in a pretty good spot to make this trade. But if it's just a matter of how long Cordero Patterson's going to be doing what he's doing, because he is still eating and he's still making a lot of production. So at this point, I'm in a good spot. I'm okay trading that. I'm okay making that trade because I don't know how long this Patterson experiment lasts. Maybe it's not an experiment. Maybe it lasts the whole year. Maybe Patterson ends as a top 12 running back. We don't know. But for now, yeah, I don't mind the upside of the other two. Rondell Johnson says, trying to trade Waller for a running back or wide receiver. Any suggestions as to who you would go for? My wide receivers are McLaurin, Lockett, Hollywood, Renfro, Lamb. You got a lot of depth there. I don't think you need a wide receiver. Running backs are Robinson, Collins, Damian Harris, Hubbard, Madison, Gainwell. Yeah. So if you're going to trade a Waller-esque tight end for a running back in specific, I'm going to go after DeAndre Swift. I'm going to go after, Najee Harris, Saquon Barkley's, Nick Chubb's, Alvin Kamara's, anybody in that top 12 range, all of them. Try to go for them. That's my thought process there, Rondell. Thank you. Sir sends in a question, says Zeke, Saquon, Madison, full PPR, 2 spots left. I'm leaving Madison on the bench. I'm playing Saquon and I'm playing Zeke. Thank you. Matthew Correa says Robinson, Myers, Kenny G, Mooney, flex, full PPR. I'm playing Myers there. Thank you. Arthur sends in a question, says, need a running back and a flex, AB, Mixon, and Damian Williams. Need a running back and a flex. The running back's Damian Williams, and the flex is Antonio Brown. Thank you. We go to Corey Olson, says Johnson or A.J. Brown, full PPR, Connor if Edmonds is out. Edmonds is not going to be out. Edmonds is going to play. With that being said, Johnson as in Deontay Johnson or A.J. Brown in a full PPR. I do have A.J. Brown lower than Deontay Johnson in a full PPR based on just target volume and reception work. Just Sherman 4 says, assuming by ranking Moss ahead of Sutton this week. That is a correct assumption, yes. With Sutton not being here because he rolled his ankle on Friday's practice, he has been claimed as a game time decision. I'm not comfortable playing someone that could potentially be hurt and playing on an injury. There's a reason why we're not touching Mixon today, or if we're touching him, it's at a very, specific capacity. So, yes, based on what you can assume, yes, I would guys, just to put it in perspective, because I know people are asking, So someone in the chat was asking and spamming for about 5 minutes, and I didn't want to give him any attention, but I'll just answer anyway. Who's spamming? Do I play Madison or Tyler Boyd? It's not even close. Madison's my number 9 running back. It's on the screen right there. I'm trying to help as much as I can, right? But for sure, without a doubt in my mind, if a receiver is not here, right, oftentimes there are going to be receivers in full PPR that are not on this screen that I'm going to play over running backs. But Moss is a number 22 running back. He gets PPR work. He scores touchdowns. Sutton is injured, so take that into account. Jacob Reiser says, assuming I have to start Madison, who do I sit out of the trio of Godwin, Gibson, Keenan Allen? Unfortunately, Lockett locked in. Would have sat him, thanks. At this point, I'm probably sitting Gibson, and I'm playing Keenan Allen, and I'm playing Godwin. Thank you very much, Jacob. Trude Boy says, full PPR. Is Josh Jacobs or Chuba Hubbard a coin toss, or a toss-up specifically? Is it a toss-up? No, I don't think it's a toss-up. I think, now that you say it, okay, technically it could be considered a toss-up. I like Hubbard more because I like the matchup more because, the Chicago Bears are typically good in terms of stopping the run. But with that said, I'm still playing Hubbard. It's probably going to be who scores the touchdown this week. Between the two of them, I think they got a pretty good chance equally. As for your second question, Baltimore or Raiders defense, I'm playing Baltimore there. I do like the Raiders defense. They're in my top 12 of the remaining defenses that are going to play this week, but I do prefer Baltimore. Do I play McKissick? We'll have a better upside than Mixon this week. Yes, I agree. Should have a better upside. I would play McKissick over Mixon. Thank you very much. All right, we're moving on to the next question here that was sent in. Isaac says, full PPR, pick 3. Zeke, Damian Williams, Madison, Swift. We are going to play Zeke. We're going to play Madison. We're going to play Swift. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Corey sends in a question. Says, full PPR, Mixon or Darnell Mooney? I'm playing Darnell Mooney. I appreciate it. Trayvon Mullen, the number 2 cornerback for the Las Vegas Raiders, is out. Obviously, we're coming off a great week in which Darnell Mooney had a good performance, and we're going to go ahead and fire him up there. We're moving on to Carlos Sanchez saying, Cortland Sutton, Allen Robinson, Chenault, half PPR, thank you. There's no problem at all. If, again, Carlos, you are considering or trying to wonder what's going on, the left side of the screen has half PPR positional rankings updated as of this morning. So, again, I would potentially play Chenault and Robinson again ahead of Sutton because he's not on the screen, but Chenault ahead of Robinson, so Chenault's a suggestion there. Brandon sends in a question, half PPR, Knox or Hawkinson, considering Hawk's injury. I mentioned it earlier. Considering his injury, I'm playing Knox, and that's why he's ranked higher on the left side of the screen. Captain America says, Herbert and Williams, Mike Williams that is, with a tough matchup, or Burrow and Higgins. Cincy with Mixon hobbled, they should throw a ton. Yeah, I mean, they're going to probably throw a lot, especially considering Jaire Alexander, the number 1 cornerback of that Green Bay Packers defense, is probably going to the injured reserve, or I think he was established to be going to the injured reserve. They do not have a good secondary. They are probably going to get torched today. With that being said, I'm still going with Herbert, and I'm still going with Mike Williams because I think talent in this specific term and in terms of opportunity going in the direction of Mike Williams in comparison to Higgins is far more, in an advantageous position for Williams. Sociable Jimmy says Manuel Sanders, Melvin Gordon III, or Robbie Anderson. Sanders, Anderson, Gordon, that order. Sam Truly TV, Allen Robinson or Joe Mixon, full PPR. I'm playing Allen Robinson. Thank you. Will Lane says half PPR, trade Mixon, CD, Herbert for, Dalvin Cook, Ridley. Trade Mixon, CeeDee Lamb, and Herbert for Dalvin Cook and Ridley. I already have Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Gibson, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, Higgins, Hurts as my quarterback. Yeah, I'll make the trade. I think the improvement at wide receiver and running back is so significant that I don't mind losing Herbert for it. I'm good with that. Will Lane, make the trade. Obviously, you're going to need help and hope that Ridley doesn't come back till week 7 because he has a bye week next week. Cook still unhealthy. We're going to figure that out. But for now, if they're both ready to go rest of the way forward, I prefer them. Mean Gene, thank you very much. Says flex full PPR, Hubbard, Damian Harris, or Kenny Galladay. Hubbard, Harris, Galladay. At this point, I'm fairly confident playing Hubbard. I think Galladay is a good option, but I think Hubbard's just a little bit safer in that regard. Let's see here. Caesar Castillo sends in a question. Says Fournette or Jamar Chase? Very good question. I'm going to lean with Fournette, but if Jamar Chase has a 2 receiving touchdown game, don't blame me, because really I think it's possible. With no Jair Alexander, it is very possible that he has a great game. With Higgins back, the likelihood is a little bit reduced. With Uzama getting more snap counts in the last couple weeks as it's kind of ramped up, with no Mixon, there's a lot of potential for them spreading it out, but I'm still going Fournette. There's so much safety there, so much upside there in itself. Chris Tran says, half PPR Mixon, Murray, or Renfro. In a half PPR scoring format, I think Murray's 10 points. I think Renfro's 10 points. Who has more upside? Potentially Renfro. So I'm probably going to lean in that direction as of this moment in time. Chris Tran, thank you. C-Mac says, Hubbard, Myers, Cooks, full PPR, pick one. If I'm picking one out of those 3, I am playing Jacoby Myers. Thank you, C-Mac. Basketball Knowledge says, and I quote, Ayuk, Sutton, Kadarius Toney, pick 2 full PPR. I'm playing Ayuk and I'm playing Toney. My DST is Arizona playing against Ayuk. I'm not too worried about that. I wouldn't worry about your defense playing against your receiver, because in reality, we're not really expecting Ayuk to score a touchdown. I'm picking him off of the basis of yardage and receptions in a full PPR. Thank you, though. Big DYL23 says, standard format, Leonard Fournette or Galladay. Thanks for the content. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the kind words. We are playing Leonard Fournette instead of Galladay. Thank you. David Martinez, full PPR, Edmonds, A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, pick 2. I am picking both receivers in this regard. A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, I'm firing them up. Derek Just with another question says, flex, full PPR. Beasley, I have Josh Allen as my quarterback going up against Diggs or Waddle with Parker out and Fuller out. I'm very confused. Flex, full PPR. Beasley, I have Josh Allen as my QB going up against Diggs or Waddle. What do you mean going up against Diggs or Waddle? I'm super confused. Do you have Diggs or Waddle? You're playing against Diggs and Waddle. Derek in the chat saying Mixon is playing at Andrew. I know that. I have him as my number 34 ranked running back because I think he'll be at a limited capacity. If you want to play Joe Mixon, by all means, play Joe Mixon. It is not going to bother me at any capacity. I'm just sharing my opinion with you guys and giving you guys my thought process on the matter. I may not be correct. He may go for 40 points for all I know. But at this moment, he didn't practice the whole week, dealing with the ankle injury. The fact that he's playing doesn't mean he's going to be at a full 22.5 touches per game kind of share like he typically is on a weekly basis in 2021. Okay, so anyway, getting back to Derek's question, I'm still super confused, Derek. If you can type in the chat, giving me some more context as to what the heck you mean by going up against Diggs and Waddle. I don't know what difference that makes at this point. So if you're asking if I'm playing Beasley or Waddle, I'm playing Beasley. I don't even know if that's the question, though. Shane Ramsey says, full PPR, Pittman, Tim Patrick, Allen Robinson. We're going to play in the order that I go ahead and suggest. I would go Allen Robinson, Tim Patrick, Pittman in that order. Thank you. Let's see here. Next question. Melvin says, full PPR, Antonio Gibson, Hubbard, or Toney. Antonio Gibson and Hubbard are my suggestions there. I appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on. Nathan D. Actually, the message was retracted. Never mind. R.S. German says, and I quote, good morning. Good morning to you as well. PPR, Devonta Smith, or wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Either way. PPR, Devonta Smith, Joe Mixon, flex. I'm playing Smith there. Thank you. I have Diggs and Moore as my wide receivers, Chubb and Damian Williams as my running backs. Yeah, you're good to go. I like Devonta Smith there in the flex. All My Girls Ugly says full PPR, Mike Williams, Jonathan Taylor, or Damian Williams. Out of the group of players that you've mentioned here, I am very likely to lean in the direction of probably playing Mike Williams, then Taylor, then Williams again. So Mike, Jonathan, then Damian. Dan sends in a question, says CEH Antonio Brown in the flex. I'm playing CEH there. Thanks. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Q Crew says Swift or DeAndre Hopkins. Very good question. I'm thinking if you're playing, I think regardless of what format. Oh man, all right, I gotta go look at my rankings because honestly, this one's a tough one. Where's my half PPR running back? Okay, so we have Swift. Where are you at, Swifty? We have DeAndre Hopkins there. Where do we have Swift? I think I might have Swift a little bit lower. Yeah, I have Swift 2 spots lower than him in a full PPR. It's very much similar capacity. I'm playing DeAndre Hopkins there. Thank you. Derek Just says, I'm going up against Diggs and have Beasley and Waddle. Yeah, okay, cool. So if you're picking between Beasley and Waddle, I'm playing Beasley. But if you want to play Waddle, you certainly can. They're very close in terms of my overall rankings there. Will Lane, starting the Vikings defense or Washington football team? In reality, I'm thinking probably go with, in my rankings, I have the Washington football team defense higher, technically. Because, I don't know. I don't know why. I just don't think that I can trust the Vikings defense. In reality, I don't think I can trust them. So, even the fact that they're playing against Detroit's, they could put up points. So, I'm okay with just playing the Washington football team and hoping that Jameis Winston has one of those games. Assault sends in a question, says, can you just quickly elaborate as to why you have Swift over Jonathan Taylor? I trust your opinion, but I feel like Jonathan Taylor has much more opportunity. Certainly going to have opportunity. In terms of much more is I guess, rather subjective. Nyheim Hines is going to play this week, so the receiving work's kind of going to be evaporated. They play against Baltimore. I know Baltimore's been okay against the running game, but they're probably a pretty good run defense, especially considering the Colts don't have, I think, 2 or 3 of their starting offensive linemen this week. The offense doesn't look good. It just leads me to think if, in fact, they get into a scenario in which it's a negative game script, they're not able to run the ball as effectively. Down in the red zone, he's had 7 rushing attempts, 0 rushing touchdowns. The running game hasn't been very effective. Ultimately, I think Swift, in his specific matchup, regardless of whether they're up by 30 or down by 30, is going to be utilized, and a lot in the receiving game. That's why I just feel like there's a little bit more safer of a floor in that capacity, regardless of whether or not he's been kind of dealing with an injury. I'd rather go with Swift in that capacity there. RM, thank you very much for the generous donation, says, and I quote, 16-team half PPR league here. Lost my tight end. Would you start Ertz, Max Williams, or Ross Dwelly? I'd play Ertz there. Thank you. He's been good in the last 2 weeks, especially with target count. Orogu sends in a question, says, Galladay or Damian Harris? I'm playing Galladay there. Thank you. Crackly Dogfart says, flex half PPR, Chenault, AB, Gibby. Thank you. Let's see here. Next question. Christopher King, AJ Brown or CD Lamb, full PPR? I'm playing AJ Brown. Thank you. Let's see here. Taya Sale, says, Marvin Jones Jr. or Cole Beasley in the flex. I'm going to play Marvin Jones Jr. there. L. Huffster Games says, full PPR, AJ Brown or Amari Cooper. I'm playing AJ Brown there. Thank you. Omar Flores says, AB, Sanders, Mixon. AB is my suggestion there over whichever Sanders, Emmanuel, or Miles. We have Oscar Lopez saying, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Marvin Jones Jr. as my wide receiver. I'm playing Marquise Brown there. Thank you. Or do I flex one? My bench is Waddle, Jacobs, Hubbard, Sutton. Ooh, let me see here. No, I mean, at this point, I have Swift and Madison as my RB spots. With Swift and Madison there, you're good to go. As for your flex position in a full PPR, I'd rather play Marquise Brown than the other options that you've mentioned on your bench. So yeah, I'm playing Marquise Brown there still. Thank you. The gray area sends in a question, says Ruggs, Sutton, Claypool, Javonte Williams, pick 2. I'm playing Ruggs, and I'm probably playing Claypool, to be honest. Sutton is a little bit of a question mark. Javonte Williams has an extremely difficult matchup. Half PPR, 14-team league dynasty. Hashtag, okay, yeah, we're not reading that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so Pancakes or GTFO says, full PPR, play Josh Gordon or Giovanni Bernard. Are we really at that position? If we are at that position, I would say look elsewhere. But, I mean, in reality, if we're really there and those are the only two options that you have, you're playing Josh Gordon and you're hoping. You're just hoping. Ricardo says full PPR, Zach Moss, Mixon, Deontay Johnson, Waddle. Start one running back, start one flex. The running back is going to be Moss, and the flex is Deontay Johnson. Thank you, Ricardo. Okay, we're at 9:44. I have to go ahead and check a couple things here. What's the score of this game? The game is final. Wow, that was a terrible performance by the Jets. 19 for 32 passing. The most receptions was by Corey Davis with only 4 against the Atlanta Falcons. Wow. Oh, man, that hurts. That hurts to watch. I don't know if you guys watched that, but it's rough. Cordero Patterson had himself a good game. 7 catches, 60 yards, 54 on the ground. Mike Davis was decent. Pitts, 9 catches, 119 Welcome to the NFL, Kyle Pitts. We've been waiting for a while, but luckily, you decided to show up this week. Glad to hear. Sending the question. El Huffster Game says, full PPR, James Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, Kareem Hunt. If I'm picking in order, specifically with these players, I'm playing Najee Harris first. I'm playing James Robinson second. I'm playing Jonathan Taylor third and Kareem Hunt fourth. Thank you. Let's see here. Any new reports in terms of players that are going to be missing based on injury today? Nothing. That doesn't bother me. Okay. What is this? Washington declared Diami Brown knee as an inactive today. That does help Curtis Samuel's potential later. Yep. Okay. Nothing much different. Okay. Seems the same as earlier. Orson Welles sends in a question. Full PPR. Gibson, Hubbard, Damian Williams need 2. I'm playing Gibson and I'm playing Williams. Thank you. Caden King, Gibson, Hubbard, Williams. I mean, you guys just literally typed in the same question. And regardless of, actually, you know what? Yeah. And honestly, regardless of format, I think I'm just playing Gibson and I'm playing Williams in this case. Yeah. I would consider playing Hubbard in the standard over him, but at this point, I'm pretty comfortable with Damian Williams and Gibson over Hubbard for both you, Orson Welles, and Caden King. Chris L.Y. says, CEH or Gibson? I'm playing CEH there in a half PPR. Might have a shootout. Yeah, I mean, listen. CEH is the option regardless. King Prowl says, Sutton back. Sutton or T. Higgins? I'm still playing T. Higgins. I don't trust, even with him back, taped up, getting that nice juice of a shot. So he has a little bit of pain reduction. I'm not too keen on it at this moment. Mike Beats 713 says Boyd or Higgins. I'm playing Higgins. A couple people in the chat are asking, like, Madison or Gibson. On the left side of the screen, we have updated rankings for a half PPR scoring format. Very similarly in a full PPR. Yes, there are some adjustments that are made and some that are quite drastic in reality. But honestly, when we have Madison at 9 and we have Gibson down at like 15-ish, 14, Madison, even in a full PPR, is a significantly better play there. Come on, guys. So good to go. Charles was asking, that's a good question. Charles, to be honest, I probably play OBJ there. Let's see. Okay, really quickly, got to check a couple things really quick. Last couple checks just in case there's anything that's a little crazy. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, let's do that. What is this? Okay, cool. So I'm just answering a couple questions on my Patreon, so I'll just go ahead and read them out loud. Someone was asking, do I play Waddle over Higgins or Marvin Jones? No, I'm playing Marvin Jones and Higgins over Waddle. Next. Let's see if I can get to all of these really quickly. Oscar Lopez says flex. Marvin Jones Jr., Hubbard, Jacobs, Sutton, and Waddle. If I'm playing one of them, I'm playing Marvin Jones. Would I play Mixon today? No. Check the rankings. Play Damian Williams. Okay. Oscar Lopez. So, yeah, at this point, I'm probably playing Marvin Jones. Okay, let's look at the chat a little bit here. Kenny Galladay or Pittman? I'm playing Kenny Galladay. Grade the trade. Brady, Keenan Allen, receive Mahomes, and Godwin. Great trade. I'll take it. Obviously, I prefer Keenan Allen than Godwin the rest of the season, but Mahomes is pretty damn good, to say the least. Good morning, my friend. Blessings be upon you. With the win... okay. Okay, here we go. So let's get to the gist of it. Okay, Nicholas, we don't need the sweetness there. Let's just see here. Renfro, Murray, Rondell Moore, or Knox in your flex. Probably go Renfro. It's not a bad option. Alex S. says, standard league. We have Swift. We have trade Swift, Woods, Damian Williams for Chubb, Lockett, and Drake. Okay. My current lineup is Lamar, Swift, Kamara, D-Hop, Diggs, Williams, Waller. Okay, so you play in an 8-team league. Got it. Totally understand now. The trade doesn't look as bad if you get rid of Swift for Chubb, but you are significantly taking a discount at your flex position by making this trade. So with this said currently, I think you probably couldn't afford to make this trade because there's probably guys on the waivers that could very easily fill in as your flex. So I don't mind making this trade, but in reality, you're giving up a lot. But in a standard league, when there's no points per reception, Swift is a significantly lesser play than a Nick Chubb, and that's why I'll probably lean in Nick Chubb's direction. Mitch sends in a question. Says, pick 2, flex full PPR. Tony Waddle, Elijah Mitchell. I'm playing both the receivers there, Mitch. In all honesty, I think Mitchell's potential this week is very, potentially limited to whatever the heck we see from that 49ers offense. If they're in a negative game script the whole time, they're not able to run. We may even see Trey Lance running the ball more than these two running backs, respectively. It's really just a kind of a coin toss as to what we end up seeing today. I think the receiving work here, in terms of their matchups, the opportunity they're getting in the slot position, it's great overall. So I go Tony and I'd go Waddle. My team is trash. I have no valid questions. LOL. Sorry to hear about that, Sag. That is very unfortunate. Somebody said Sutton or Fournette. What? Of course we're playing Fournette. What are we talking about? Come on, guys. Come on. Brady or Lance? Why is that a question? Why would you play Lance over Brady when he plays against Miami? Come on. If Lance is the next coming of Patrick Mahomes, then sure, maybe we play him. But I don't know if that's technically the case. John says, half PPR, would you play Antonio Gibson or Mike Williams in the flex? I'd play Mike Williams. Thank you. I think he has more upside in that case because that's specifically what you asked for, need more upside. AJR Play says, PPR flex, Jamar, Amari, James Conner, LaVisca. I would 150%, literally 150% play Jamar Chase over the rest of the options there, AJR. Kendall sends in a question, but Kendall, there is no message attached to it. Or sends in a donation, but there's no message attached to it. So I'm going to see what I can do here. It's in the chat. Jamar Chase or Mike Williams? I'm going to go Mike Williams there, but Jamar Chase is a really good wide receiver option nonetheless. So honestly, I could see it going either way, but I prefer Mike Williams at the moment. Okay, where are we at here? So Alex S. says, in regards to the Chubb trade question, it's a 10-team, okay? Baltimore defense, Carlson's my kicker. Does that affect anything in this trade? I think that I assumed it was already an 8 to 10-team league based on your roster. The kicker and defense makes no significant impact in terms of the trade. I think we're just looking for potential upside rest of the season. Based on what your team looks like, I don't mind going for Chubb there because he has higher upside than any of those other players in the opposite team. So I don't mind the trade at all. I would probably think it's probably a good idea considering it's a 10-team league and there's going to be a great amount of studs to pick up off waivers in the weeks to come to kind of recoup some of the value you lost there in regards to the trade, but I don't mind it. King says, and I quote, where are we at here? King Marcelo says, Marquise Brown versus the Colts or Hubbard versus the Eagles PPR. I'm going to play Marquise Brown there. He's been far too consistent for me to abandon him this week against a Colts secondary that is really banged up. Mixon or Pirine? I'm playing Mixon there. I don't trust Samaje if Mixon's in the lineup. I don't trust either of them, but I'd rather just play the guy that's just better at football. Mixon or Connor, I play Connor, just like it says on the left side of the screen. Jair Alexander is sitting out today. I'm aware of that. He's on the injured reserve, Isaac. Still, with that said, Higgins is going to be a huge option in this offense. Let's see here. Pukes2X says, Mike Williams, Lamb, Ayuk, Jacoby, Beasley, Gainwell. Pick 2 wide receivers in a flex in a full PPR. Mike Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Jacoby Myers, 2 wide receivers in a flex. Thank you very much. Hubbard or CEH? I prefer CEH. Guys, again, a lot of the questions you guys are asking in the chat are literally on the left side of the screen. Like Lance versus Burrow, I prefer Burrow. Just like it says on the left side of the screen. Unless my screen is like glitched out and nobody can read it. I mean, that's as clear as it can get. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Madison or Matt Forte? Memphis, that is a fantastic question. I think we're going to go Matt Forte this week. He's got a great matchup against the Raiders. By the way, when I think of Matt Forte, I think of the Bears Matt Forte. In no regard ever in my existence have I ever correlated Matt Forte with the years that he had with the Jets, regardless of what he did there. It was Matt Forte looked like a shell of himself when he was with the Jets, just like LT. Remember when LT went to the Jets? That hurt. That really did hurt. And then the Chargers were like, yeah, we're just going to use Ryan Matthews. Like, come on. What are we doing? Okay. We are getting a couple more questions here. JT says flex, full PPR, OBJ, Ayuk, Allen Robinson, Damian Williams. I'm most likely playing Damian Williams there. Thank you. Brandon says Gordon or Kenneth Gainwell, full PPR. In a full PPR, in reality, I'm playing Kenneth Gainwell. Even in a half PPR, I'm playing Kenneth Gainwell. As it says literally over there, I have Kenneth Gainwell as 28 and I have Melvin Gordon at 31. I think Kenneth Gainwell does get his work today. Omar G says Shenault, Boyd, Claypool, flex, full PPR. Look, in reality, it's between Shenault and Boyd. Who out of the two is going to get more opportunity? There's a very good option in which Shenault does. But for now, I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd. I just trust him more. Mankind says, the screen is good. You're the best. Thank you very much. I appreciate you clarifying that for me. I appreciate it. Okay. Pee-wee says non-PPR pick 2. AJ Brown, Deontay Johnson, Jamar Chase. Non-PPR pick 2. AJ Brown, Jamar Chase. That's what I'm going with. Thank you. There are same positional rankings on screen, y'all. Trust the rankings or play what you want. Thank you, CZA. Exactly. I've been preaching that for the last 3 years, but people still don't trust it for some reason. Thanks for all your time that you put in to this UKcast. Thank you very much, Big D Bob. Uzama, Brait, or Ingram? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's answered on screen, right? I have CJ Uzama and I have Brait ahead of him. Ingram's my number 17 tight end, by the way, this week. Just to give you a little bit more context there. Hawkinson or Andrews? I'm playing Andrews. How do you rank this? Question mark. Half PPR, flex Moss, Mike Williams, or Jones Jr.? Wait, why wouldn't you play Mike Williams? I don't understand. Andrew, you've been around here for a while. Mike Williams is a stud. Like, what are we doing? So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking at this point. Leave Myers on the wire. Okay, you're talking to somebody else there. Is Le'Veon Bell playing? And yes, I'm desperate. Oh, no. Shadman, don't do it. Don't do it, please. Lock your lineups, boys. Yeah, lock them in. You know what? Speaking of locking lineups, let me go ahead and I got to go check mine real quickly for one of my leagues because I didn't check it this morning. And I don't know if I said it this weekend. So let me check here. It's the one that I have, unfortunately Russell Wilson in, so I'm probably losing this week. But I do have Darrell Henderson. Yep, there we go. I'm glad I checked the lineup. I had Kittle still in. Now I put in my Goddard because that's the best tight end I have in this capacity. Otherwise, team looks pretty good. I got Derrick Henry and Tyreek Hill on this team. Leonard Fournette, the flex. CeeDee Lamb. Am I playing Antonio Brown over... Yeah, I'm playing him over my Laviska Shenault. And that's it. We're firing this team up. Let it go. Let me check my other lineup here real quickly. Okay. We're good. We're good there. Okay. Any more questions there? No. Hopkins or Johnson? I'm playing Hopkins over Deontay Johnson. Good luck, boys. Thank you very much. You too, CZA. Jamar Chase or Alexander Madison in a full PPR. I am most likely playing Alexander Madison just about. If it's anywhere. Okay, look. Just context really quickly. Last minute. If it's below Chris Godwin in the rankings, I'm playing Alexander Madison over that wide receiver. Okay, Chris Godwin below. I'm playing Alexander Madison over all of those wide receivers below Chris Godwin. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, that's it. Tyreek Hill or 100-year-old grandpa. You know what? Dirt knows it's probably going to be Tyreek Hill. Not by a wide margin. Probably the 100-year-old grandpa has a better, safer floor in this capacity, but nonetheless, good to go. All right, guys, 10 o'clock. I appreciate it. Tomorrow, waiver wires. We'll talk about that. Thank you, guys. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully we'll all catch some W's. Have a good one. Oh, somebody sent in a question here. A.J. Brown or Mike Williams? Simone White? In reality, it's A.J. Brown. That's what I'm going with. Thank you. See you guys. Peace.